Well, hey everybody, what's going on? Oh, it's a little dark. Hang on, let me just get some light on my face here. That might work a bit better, I think, to have some light on my face. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back. It's been nearly 3 weeks since I've done anything on the channel, and the algorithms are probably angry, but whatever, I don't care. So it is Friday night. Can everybody hear us okay? I just want to make sure everything's okay. Anyway, Friday night, November the 18th, 2022, 7:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cecil Laird, ladies and gentlemen, the writer and director of Dylan's New Nightmare. Cecil, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Dave. Thank you very much for having me on. And I wrote and directed it, but man, this thing wouldn't be half of what it is were it not for your portrayal of the main man, the entity of the hour, Mr. Fred Krueger himself.
Fred Krueger. That's how I should be credited in the movie. You know, in the first Elm Street, it says Robert Englund as Fred Krueger. Mm-hmm. Should be that. Dave McRae. Oh, no. It's the entity formerly known as or something. Or like
it's
Prince?
Probably going to be the entity / Freddy Krueger. I'm guessing something along those lines.
Right. Yeah, it could be something like that. Yeah, listen, I mean, we're just going to dive into it. We're going to jump into it. There's no sort of...
no foo-fooing around.
No. Let's just dive into it. This is a project that you announced literally the same month that I announced It's Me, Billy. And we went to camera a year and a half later. It took 3 years for you to go to camera for a variety of reasons.
Whose fault was that, Dave? Whose fault was that?
As the only Canuck in the movie, there was another Canuck there.
Indeed. And I will be doing a separate breakdown with him on Sunday over on my channel.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, finally we're able to get everybody together, able to get everybody's schedules in order. And we made it happen. I flew to Phoenix, Arizona, my first time in Phoenix, on Sunday, November the 6th. And we shot all last week and it was great. I mean, everybody was awesome. Everybody was firing on all cylinders. Such nice people. Really awesome to sit and chat with Vince and get to know him a bit better as well. We've chatted here on the channel, but not actually sat down and just shot the shit and laughed and talked and shared ideas and all that kind of stuff. So he's a hell of a guy. Everybody's great. You know what I mean? Everybody was so nice and warm and welcoming. No egos on set whatsoever. Just a perfect blend of everybody just working together and trying to make the best movie that we possibly can. So yeah, I again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in the film and to play Freddy. It was a big undertaking. I told my patrons, because I had a patron stream yesterday. Oh no, 2 days ago.
Okay.
I said, I took this as seriously as I mean, yes, it's a fan film, quote unquote, but I took this as seriously as I would any professional job I was hired to do. Because I look at this it's fun to dream. The probability of me being chosen as the next Freddy Krueger is highly unlikely, just based on probability and all the actors in the world and how competitive and cutthroat the business is. However, there's no better way to show what you can do than for this to be, the platform to be able to showcase that. I mean, it's the full prosthetic makeup and having Nora Hewitt involved and having her friend who sculpts some of the best shit in horror right now, including the new Predator and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to have Miko involved and Vince there and you there. And I mean, I treated this as seriously as I've ever taken anything else. And I treated this like I was putting it all out there as if I was auditioning for the role. Do you know what I mean? Like that was my mindset. That was my mindset.
And it was very clear from the very beginning. Like we were so so there's an awful lot to talk about. And of course we're going to be avoiding spoilers of any kind that we possibly can. But we didn't get to Freddy until day 2 of the 6-day shoot. Dave was on grounds for all of day 1, and he saw what was what, and he saw what we were working with, crew wise, location wise. We were working at Sun Studios of Arizona. It had a wonderful green screen room that we were able to utilize. And just because I say that doesn't mean how we're utilizing that room, guys. So it's not a spoiler. But it was a very large room that we were able to shoot a section of the movie in. And it, to me, like, I liked the first 2 days set there because it set a certain level for the production. Like, we have some room to maneuver. We've got some cool ideas that we can pull off. And we've got a lot of cool people and locations in play to help us do so. And then you come along and Nora gets ready to go on day 2, where we're going to be getting our Freddy. And, I was doing my best to avoid looking at you until it was time. But
yeah, I felt it. I felt the snub.
I didn't want to ruin it for myself.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But someone came and said, I can't remember who, but said the front is on, the front face is on. And I was like, okay, I gotta go look. And I went and looked, and it was so much. Like, I saw the sculpt, right? We saw the sculpt ahead of time. We saw the sculpt months ago. But it was like, how is this going to look on Dave? And I looked at you, and your eyes hadn't been painted in right. Yeah. So I looked at you and I was like, this is fucking weird, because Dave is inside Freddy Krueger right now. Like, it was
taken several different ways. Well, is this a sequel to part 2? What's going on here?
We got to part 2 in a lot of ways in this movie. Yeah. But I'm telling you, everything outside was Freddy.
Yeah.
Except here, because you didn't have, all the people. I'm even struggling. Like, I'm not. Yeah,
because it wasn't done yet. It wasn't done yet.
Right. You weren't done. Thank you. You weren't done yet.
It wasn't done yet. Yeah.
But it was still Dave's eyes under everything. And that was odd
at that moment.
But I was like, at the same time, I was like, oh, you got something here. So much so that I went back out and we were shooting other stuff while you were getting into makeup. And Steve Wargo, who has been a producer on the horror show since the very beginning. Literally, we shot seasons 1 and 2 on Steve's green screen in his garage. He's been providing us with gear and equipment for everything that we've done on a big scale, and he did so for this too. And he's been in the business 40, almost 50 years. And he came in and just was like checking out what we were doing. And I was like, Steve, you need to go look at the makeup. And he's just like, huh? I was like, just go look at the makeup. And he said, okay. And he disappeared. I'm still watching. About 3 minutes later, I get a tap on my shoulder, and I look up at Steve, and he just looks at me and goes, holy shit. And Steve almost never curses. So, like, Steve was blown away by it. And like, I knew it was going so well, and I knew it would go this well based on Nora's acumen and based on knowing what I knew, or what I thought Dave would bring to the role. So we had planned a whole reveal for the crew. Like, everyone on them when they watch the movie is going to get the reveal as well. Yeah. But the crew had never seen Dave in this whole getup before, and so we did a whole crew reveal for the behind the scenes that will eventually go out. By the way, over 700 gigabytes worth of behind the scenes footage shot throughout the week. So we're going to have a full on BTS feature, and some of this will be showcased in it. But when Dave came out as Freddy, it was just, everyone was just floored and blown away. And admittedly, some cell phone cameras came out when I probably should have stopped them, but I was caught up in the moment as well. So nothing's gotten out, of course, but everyone was so eager to capture the moment because it was like, holy shit, like this is beyond all of our expectations.
And let's get this out of the way now. Shout out to the amazing Nora Hewitt.
100%.
I mean, look, I said this to the cast and the crew, and I said it to Nora, and I will say it to everybody here as well. You know, it's a team effort. And what I mean by that is, without Nora Hewitt and without the amazing sculpt that her friend did, but without the amazing makeup work that she did to bring Freddy to life, to bring Freddy back, essentially. Without her, I'm just a guy in a baseball cap on a soundstage, right? I mean, listen, I'm an actor, so I worked very hard on, you know, bringing the essence of Freddy there. But without Nora Hewitt, I'm just Dave McRae on that stage. But at the same time, you can also have the wrong person in the makeup as well. So you can have it look amazing and, oh my God, it looks wonderful, but the actor under the makeup ain't bringing it. Right. So it's a marriage. I mean, it's a team effort. And you know what Nora was able to do, and it's funny, without giving any spoilers away, I knew very early on sort of the look and the direction that you were going to go with the makeup. And for whatever reason, I guess we never had updates with each other about sort of how that's going to go. And it still was what you were doing, but you had kind of, you know, blended a few more kind of ideas in there too. And so as I'm sitting in the makeup chair, and the first day was about 5.5 hours because Nora was trying to figure out, you know, the right way to put it on and find her rhythm. And I remember sitting there watching it come together, and there was a moment, I'm not going to say what, but there was a moment when a piece went on and I went, oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't, because in my head I had the other, whole other thing. I just thought it was just going to be that, all of that. I didn't realize it was going to be a little bit of a mix and match. And I just was like, wow. And it just helped me get into character even more, you know, and it was so great. It was so great to watch her work and she's, I mean, the time just went by. She's so fun and funny, and she makes the time go by, and extraordinarily talented. So shout out to, special effects makeup artists, and Face Off season 9 winner, I believe, Nora Hewitt.
Yeah. It was really an incredible thing. And I think, you know, one of the biggest songs of praise for you was the fact that, you know, early in the process, you know, your first day as Freddy, you had to film a relatively intense scene with Miko. And what was really amazing to see as a director, again, I try and pride myself on being a collaborative director.
Well, listen, there's Scorsese, and then there's Laird. I mean, it just doesn't, that's just the facts.
I you know, one day, perhaps, one day, but
you never know.
I got a lot of mob movies to make before that happens. But still, what was really nice to see as a director is that at one point, Miko bought into you so heavily that you guys just started having conversations. And he started to talk to you about, like, hey, you know, like he was giving you ideas on how to augment your performance, your already great performance, to make it scarier for him, which allowed him to raise his own level to a whole other territory. Like, I'm telling you guys, when I tell you that Dave's performance helped Miko get to a place that literally made my hair stand on end on my arms. I got goose flesh from a particular take that is going to go in the movie. I can't wait until you guys see it, but Miko said afterwards that he was only able to get there because of how legitimate and scary Dave was being as Freddy. Like there was a particular thing that he was doing that was causing Miko some inner turmoil, and that as a director is just fucking magical to see, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it helped raise the level of everyone. Like everyone looked at you and were like, you know, Jesus Christ, Dave's really bringing it. And so everyone else is like, I gotta fucking bring it. Like, let's keep this level. We went into this thing aiming to do our best. But by the end of it, we were all so happy and blown away by the product that we had gotten over the course of the 6 days. Like one of my favorite memories of this whole experience were the days that we stayed real late and we're up from like midnight till sometimes 3 or 4 reviewing footage. And when I tell you that having 8 or 9 people crowded around a little laptop as Miko goes through footage, and literally the people around me are cheering Vinny, you know, Vince.
Yep. Vince
Womp Films. Vince has been on a bunch of different projects. He's literally jumping up and down, screaming like a schoolgirl at what we got. Like these things fed my soul in a way like I never thought possible. And all of these things happened because of the talent that everyone brought all along the way. Well, but if it weren't for you and Miko being the core and heartbeat of the film, none of that would have even been possible. So you just knocked it so far out of the park that you allowed all of us to buy into the world that much more, which is just it's valuable beyond gold. It's valuable beyond diamonds. It's valuable beyond anything that you could ask for in the filmmaking process.
I appreciate that very much. It's, you know, it's not like I thought of this consciously. Well, I mean, parts of it I thought about consciously, which is why I'm able to say that, you know, I was treating this like an audition, all that kind of stuff. But there's parts of me that, you know, I think I didn't think about, which is, and I think I mentioned it to you before, but I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I felt like I had something to prove, you know, not just, but like prove to myself, because I think that, you know, for a lot of people who don't know me, they know me as Dave the YouTuber, and that's fair. I mean, that's how you know me.
That's so going to change though.
But
I'm so excited.
But I've been, you know, I've been an actor, because that's what a voice actor is. You're an actor, but you're behind the microphone. I've been, you know, acting and part of the business for 21 years. I was doing all the shit you see me doing here and the crazy long before YouTube existed. You know, I just brought who I was to YouTube. But I completely understand why people see me as the YouTuber. So I think it's hard for some people to kind of go, that guy, the guy that talks about Halloween and says dog shit and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and he's, but Dave, that's Freddy. Yeah. Okay, sure. And I think, and I kind of like that because they don't realize that I actually know the craft, and I'm actually a trained actor, and you know, I have a degree in it as well. And so, you know, there's a side to me that feels like, yeah, okay, all right. You just wait. But so I think there's part of me that not that I was thinking about it like at the top of my mind, but I think I really wanted to bring it. I really wanted to, because also too, I started off as an on-camera actor. That's how I began doing commercials and bit parts and docudramas and all that kind of stuff. And then I broke my teeth. We'll get to the teeth in a minute. And then I broke my teeth.
We're telling that story. Okay, yeah.
Sure. And then I broke my teeth, and I had to go on hiatus, and then I fell into the voiceover, and the rest is history. But to get back in front of the camera and flex those muscles, I have some stage experience as well. So to get back in front of the camera and flex those muscles opposite Miko Hughes, who has a lot of Hollywood experience, and he's the only one that's ever played opposite Robert in the room, and I'm playing the Robert role. That's it. I took it very seriously. My mindset was, we're shooting the sequel to New Nightmare. That's what this is. That was my mindset going in, and I am pleased that I didn't let anybody down. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. No,
that would have been awful.
No, of course. Well, but that's the thing. Like, I think what happened, and this is such a wonderful problem to have, because it's not a problem at all, is that, like, everyone, it's one of those things, Dave, and forgive the fucking comparison here, but
oh God, here we go.
It was very much like any number of movies where there's a meek character that is like, that somehow gets into the choir, right? And they're given their first solo, right? Like, no one knows what they can do, right? But it's the big night, and everyone's there, and the whole audience, i.e. the crew, is watching, right? And all of a sudden the character is allowed to step out front, and all of a sudden they belt out fucking the most amazing Mariah Carey-ish fucking, where did that come from? Like, that was the equivalent experience for the crew watching you come out and do what you did, where it's like we knew, that's the thing. Producer Dave, who's been a part of the channel since the beginning, the horror show wouldn't have happened without producer Dave. He was there the whole time helping me out and everything. After night 2, when you were first Freddy, we were here decompressing at like 2:30. And he's just like, whose idea was it to get Dave McRae? And I was like, and he's just like, what on earth made you think of him? And I was like, and he wasn't trying to be rude, right?
Right.
He was just literally like, why
the dog shit,
like,
but Dave guy?
He's like, what on earth made you think of him? And I was like, I backdoor auditioned him, which sounds way dirtier than it should.
No, it's truthful.
but I've seen him do what he can do. I've seen how much, as just a host, he plays to the audience, and I know he knows from mood and atmosphere, because Lord knows he won't shut the fuck up about it.
It's totally true.
But he also, like, he knows how to entertain, and he knows how to bring a presence, and he clearly knows where to turn it on and off. And I just had a feeling, and I will, if nothing else, I will take full credit for the story and for casting you, because honestly, I had a feeling, and you just fucking proved me so right, that I was just ecstatic. And I'm so happy that everyone else is going to get to see what you're bringing to the table, because one of the things that you said, and this was a question I had for you, actually, going into everything, you're like, I'm just excited for when I'm fully in the makeup, just to see, what that feels like, and really become the personality, and like, that's what you were excited about to bring to the role. So
I was.
How did that feel once it finally happened? Did that help you step into it, or was it just like, okay, this is just my outer facade for the thing that I've been planning to do for months now?
No, it did. It did. Like I mentioned, I mean, I was under the impression I was going to look one way, and then I realized I was starting to look another way, and which wasn't like, either wouldn't have been bad, but let's just say that there's a couple of details that I really liked, and I started to see it come alive when Nora was doing the makeup, and it just helped me get into the role even more. I mean, any actor will tell you, look, some actors have experience with makeup and prosthetics, and some don't. I was one that didn't. I've worn masks before, obviously, but nothing like this. Not like, Robert Englund 1984 shit. And so it was my first time doing that. It was a great experience. And you cannot help but, I mean, when you look at yourself in the mirror, I don't see Dave McRae. I don't see myself. I can hear myself, but I don't see myself. So that's how good the makeup is. And I mean, nobody's going to see me. Nobody, I guarantee you, people are going to be like, that's Dave McRae, the Butt Dave guy from YouTube. Shut up. Because Nora did such an amazing job at getting rid of me. And that allowed me to do my thing. If I looked like me, or even just a sense of me, you look at me and you go, well, yeah, I can kind of see Dave McRae there. Mm-hmm. I think that would work to my disadvantage.
Agreed.
But the fact that you don't see me at all,
nope,
like at all, I think really
vanished.
Gone. And I think it really helped my confidence as an actor to be able to give myself that permission to let go and lose myself in the role and not worry that people are going to look at me and go, I can kind of see Dave in there. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously people are going to watch it and they're going to know it's me. But those who know me are going to know it's me, but you're not going to see me, and that's, I love that about that. So it was an honor, man. I mean, folks, it's a short film. It's not a feature length film. So, there's only so much we can do within a short period of time. So I don't want to set unrealistic expectations either. I don't want people to suddenly go and say, oh my God, this is gonna, But I think the reason why we're all excited is because we went out and we accomplished exactly what we all wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think we're really excited about it is because it's exactly, and if we can leave them wanting more, like if they can watch our film, oh God, I want to see how, I want more of this, or, oh fuck, I want more of Dylan. What the fuck's fuck Freddy, that Freddy was amazing. I want more of that Freddy. No, that's it. No, come on. You know what I'm saying? Then we've done our job. Then we've done our job.
Happen. Yeah,
we've done our job, because that's what it's about. If we were backed by a studio, we'd have all five. We'd have the whole thing done. But
well, look, I mean, there's a lot rattling through my head. So I gotta be careful where I step here. But I will say that Bloodbath TV in the chat, Jay, Dave was genuinely creepy as all hell. So Bloodbath TV, Jay was actually our key grip for the project. So he's the one that I'm going to be streaming with on Sunday to do a crew breakdown from his perspective. But yeah, I mean, Jay can speak to how amazing you were as Freddy. He was legit blown away, just like everybody else.
Shout out to Jay.
What's
from
up, Mother Mayhem? Good to see you.
Bloodbath TV. It was the first time I'd ever met Jay, and I didn't realize he was Canadian from Niagara Falls. So
literally flew out from the same airport as you.
Yeah. Like he's an hour away from me, so that's awesome. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, I just was very happy to be able to play the role. I'm happy for the opportunity. And when you asked me, what was your favorite part about the whole thing, I think that is just it. Having the opportunity to showcase what I could do. Like I said, I treated it like an audition, and I feel good about, leaving the audition, quote unquote, and seeing what happens.
You may have gotten the single best selfie in horror history. That I'm telling you, the one that you're planning to use as a profile pic down the line, that shit is such, like, I've reached out to a few other of my YouTube friends that weren't able to come help, and I'm just like, under the, hey, you want to shut the fuck up, but you want to see one image. That's the image that I've been sharing. And one person just literally was 3 different messages. Oh my God. And I was like, yep, that's what we're dealing with.
I know the one you're talking about. It was when we were shooting a particular scene. You guys were setting up and there was a light outside. Yeah, right. There was a light outside coming through, and I just walked over and I grabbed my phone and I just took a couple of dude, I have so many pictures on my phone that I would love to drop. I have video of me rehearsing. I have video of me rehearsing and fucking around backstage at Sun Studios. Just backstage rehearsing, getting into the character, feeling out the glove, all that kind of stuff. I have so much stuff I could drop that people would go, oh, this is what you guys are doing.
It's really incredible, and it's so much fun that everyone was kind of on the same page. Like, you know, when we got around to the rap party and the speeches, you know, before everyone got down and dirty with the special mead that we had, there was a lot of, you know, I'm just so glad to have been a part of this family. Like, we literally created a family with this production. Like, I would eagerly have back any particular person that worked on this project, because everyone gave it their all. Everyone saw the possibilities, everyone saw the footage. And I will say, without giving anything away, because we haven't locked in any deals or anything, we have what I would consider an LA shark circling DNN that wants to edit the project. There's someone that has had their hands in editing some big fucking shit recently that we've been in talks with, Vince specifically, and they're very interested to edit the project. They're, in fact, one of the editors on a very, very big horror property right now that's going. And I'm not going to say what, but it's very exciting to know that this level of talent is interested in what we were able to put together over the course of those 6 days. And yet, as arrogant as it may sound, I'm not necessarily surprised that we're able to attract this level of talent with what we were able to capture.
Well, and let's we'd be remiss if we didn't give a huge shout out to the star of the film, Miko Hughes.
Of course.
Who brought his A game. Miko is somebody obviously who has a wealth of experience dating back to Pet Sematary, as we know, even though he was only like 2 in that movie, but he was one of those young child stars that grew up to the 1990s. I mean, you know, Pet Sematary, Kindergarten Cop, Apollo 13, New Nightmare, Full House, right? Mercury Rising. I mean, you know, he has a lot of experience going back to being a child star, and he has done some things as an adult as well, but he was nervous too. You know, he said, you know, I haven't done, you know, this kind of thing in a while, and I want to make sure that I bring my A game and that kind of stuff. So we were talking to each other, you know, about that. And I wanted to make sure that he looked good, and he wanted to make sure that I looked good. I mean, acting is reacting. And, you know, when you have a scene partner, you know, you want your scene partner to look good, because if they look good, chances are you look good. And if you both look good, chances are the scene looks good. And if the scene looks good, chances are the director's happy, and yada, 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 yada. So, you know, you want everybody to be looking good and feeling good. And there was a moment where, the camera was on Miko and you were getting his stuff. And of course, even though the camera is not on me, it depends on the actor. It's not a hard, fast rule, but a lot of actors will like you to be behind, you know, your scene partner to be behind the camera and performing. Sometimes actors who are not on camera will give it only about 30 or 40% because they're not going to use that dialogue anyway, because they're going to use it from your take, you know, whatever the case is. But I gave it 100% because, you know, acting's reacting, and Miko needed somebody to play off of. And there was a couple of times that we were going through the takes and he was kind of trying to find his spot, whatever. And then I won't say what I did, but I did something that I was doing. I stopped doing something that I was doing in the previous takes. And I think it really helped, because there was this one take where he just brought it. It was just off the chain, as the kids say today. And it was but it was great. It was great. And so it was, you know, it was great to work opposite him and to be able to feel, you know, to feel each other out and to do the best we can within the confines of this short film, you know? So, you know, it was great.
100%. And Mother Mayhem, his performance on Mercury Rising always gives me the chills. I quoted part of that performance to him when I first interviewed him, getting prepared to ask him about whether he'd be into this. I love that. Mami, Simon is home. So I quote, he's like, no one ever quotes Mercury Rising to me, but I loved him in Mercury Rising. So, and I'm telling you guys, like, when you see Miko, he's going to blow everyone away. Like, he really is going to get, I personally believe he's going to get offers after this, because he brings it so hard, and he has grown. Like, dude, he has grown. People are going to be surprised. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but Miko's going to be getting some attention after this movie for sure. And yeah, and Jay from Bloodbath TV says we got chills from certain moments. 100%. Two especially, like he brought it so hard for two particular moments that I'm just like, I couldn't have asked for more than that. And it's two pivotal moments in the movie, and I can't wait for everyone to see it, because holy shit, it just sets us up to be able to start to achieve the end game. Like the movie is shot, but we still have one final thing that we're trying to grab onto for the movie. And the thing is, after having shot the movie, I feel like we're in such a better position to try and grab that last monkey bar than we ever were before.
For sure.
And it's so exciting to even be able to consider that.
Yeah, for sure. Should we talk about the accident?
Yes. Okay. Now, do you want to? So we had just shot the big reveal.
This is day two,
right? We had just shot the big reveal.
My first day.
Yeah, Dave's first day. It was the big reveal, and we had a particular, so much so that it cost us a little bit extra because we had to do this twice, right? So 3 years ago, Dave flew out to LA to meet with Nora and do his head cast for the Freddy makeup, which means they put plaster all over his face. Yeah. We have this on the Horror Show channel, the whole process. Dave McRae gets a head mold. I think it's something like that. He did that. And at the same time, he got his teeth molded for Freddy teeth. And then when we were getting things ready to go again about 6 months ago, Nora's like, hey, by the way, teeth molds are usually only good for about 1.5 years because people's teeth change. And this had been basically 2.5 years since we did the teeth mold. So we're like, okay, we have to have Dave do the teeth mold again. He does the teeth mold again out in Canada. The mold gets sent to Nora. She sculpts these incredible teeth for the character. We're able to use it for the close-up, right? The close-up reveal at the very beginning, which I'm very excited for. But then as we move on, something happened, Dave. What happened?
Well, so 20 years ago, people know about this. One of the reasons I sort of stopped the on-camera stuff and fell into the voiceover was because in 2003, I broke my teeth, my front teeth, playing a very Canadian thing, road hockey or street hockey. I went back home and visited some friends, and I broke my teeth. And this tooth here is a cap, so that's a cap. And this tooth here was chipped. There was a chip in that tooth. It just came away, a big hole. And many years ago, 20 years ago, my dentist was able to reattach it. He actually reattached the piece that we took off the road, and he was able to reattach it, which was great. So anyway, fast forward 20 years. It's amazing it lasted that long. And I am fitting the teeth that I had molded to my teeth. Now they should fit, and they did fit, but they were a little snug. And Nora even said, you know what, I could file it down and maybe make it a bit looser. But any actor will tell you, and she said this, that, nobody likes wearing fake teeth. It does hinder your ability to speak, and enunciate and all that kind of stuff. Nobody really likes it unless you're playing a monster and you don't really have to talk. Well, then it's not really a big deal. But so I tried them on the first day. They were fine. Like the Monday, day one, even though I wasn't on camera, I went over because I wanted to hang out with everybody and be there for, morale and just hang out and see, the process. And I tried on the teeth and everything was fine. And then day two, I tried them on again. Everything seems to be okay. And then, so we walk out, and people know where this is going, I'm sure. We walk out and I put the teeth in, but I must have put them in extra tight because we all heard like a click. Like, click, click.
Well, so the bottom piece was loose.
The bottom piece was loose.
You kept having to, and so Nora came over and tried to make them snug for you.
Right. And they did.
And then she tightened the top, and we heard this pop.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's in there. That
must have been them clicking in, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm in there and we do the thing. And then afterwards, I'm having trouble taking them out. Like I literally can't get these teeth out. So then Nora comes over and is like, well, here, let me help. And I mean, she's done this a lot way more than I have. So she might have a little kind of trick maybe or something. So she's trying to help me with it. And she's able to do it. She was able to take the front teeth out and my tooth went with it. Mm-hmm. And so now I have not my whole tooth, but the piece that was attached 20 years ago, which obviously, you know, it was glued or whatever. I don't know what they did, went with it. And I went, oh, I said, my tooth just came out, meaning the piece.
No bullshit, guys. It's literally diagonally half of his big front fucking bunny tooth.
This tooth right here, just like right like that. And I mean, look, it's not life-threatening. Things can be worse. But in that moment, I was like, oh, like the wind just was taken out of my sails. I was like, whoa. I saw everybody on set go, oh, because everybody's like, uh-oh, what is that it? What are we going to, is he going to, that's it. Call my union, you fuckers. You know, am I going to make am I going to be that actor? You know,
it could have gone so many ways.
Could have gone so many ways if I was a real dick. And, but I because my first thought was, again, I mean, I'm in the States. It's not like I'm in Guatemala. No offense to Guatemala, but I just mean like, like really, 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 really far away. I mean, really far away is what I'm saying, right? Or some country that maybe isn't first world country, right? Where you're kind of like, do I really want to go to a dentist here? That's basically what I'm trying to say, okay? Love Guatemala, even though I've never been. Well, you don't like Guatemala. I know I'm going to get DMs now about it. But I'm in the States, so it's not like, it's not like I'm that far away. But that was my first thought was, I have travel insurance, right? That's why you get it. But I'm like, fuck it. And then I'm thinking about voiceover work. I knew the day I had to come back, I had an animation voiceover session on Monday. And I had an animation voiceover session on Wednesday. I had voiceover to come back to, right? Because when you leave and you go away, the voiceover doesn't... hopefully, doesn't go to other actors. They wait for you to come back, right? So when you come back, all of a sudden you get this pile up of shit that you have to do. So I thought, oh geez, I can't, like I had a bit of a lisp, and I could feel the air there. A little bit of a whistle. And I'm like, fuck. So I had to go to the back and I just needed like 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I needed 20 minutes. I felt sort of just defeated. And, I emailed my girlfriend to let her know because I was like, I need support. But I just felt very, just the wind taken out of my sails. And, but, everybody was like, I hope this is okay to say, but it looks fucking amazing for Freddy. Like it looks amazing for Freddy Krueger. And I can't deny that. It really
did.
Of course it did. I can't deny it. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, it totally does. It fucking rocks. It totally does. So after about 20 minutes or so, and talking with you and with Nora and with Miko and just kind of having that moment to kind of just let it settle in what happened and recuperate, kind of like, okay, fuck, my whole face is, whatever. I went back out there and I said, let's do this. We're here. I don't want this it works. I mean, if I was playing Dylan, we'd have a problem.
Sure.
We'd have a big problem if I was playing Dylan because now, but I'm playing Freddy. And so instead of putting the teeth back in, because I'm like, I don't know what else was going to happen, I said to Nora, why don't we just grungy up my teeth every shot or every take, which we agreed that we would do that from now on. Even when I got my teeth fixed, if I, when I play the character again, we'll just do that way. And she'll put
just black out that portion of the tooth.
That's right. That's right. And so when you see me in the movie and when you see promotional photos, depending on what photos they are, certainly when I'm able to share some BTS stuff, the hole in my face that you see is real. Mm-hmm. It is not fake. It is not makeup. I totally...
There will only be 2 shots in the movie that will not show that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And so...
But those 2 shots will show the original teeth in all their glory.
That's right. That's
for
right.
the one time in the whole series.
That's right. So, it's just one of those things that just kind of, you don't expect that, right? So you're like, and then so I was going to go see a dentist down there to get it fixed. And then, of course, the travel insurance I was having trouble finding a dentist that recognized it, even though it's a global insurance thing, but some insurances don't take it. It's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, well, why do I? Anyway, I just called my dentist.
I like that
comb.
Yeah, your dentist was like, Dave, that's a third world country down
No,
there.
he didn't
You
say that.
just fucking.
He did not say
You better
that.
not go see any of those hack jobs.
No,
down there.
he didn't.
You'll come back with 4 teeth total.
He did not say that. Shout out to my dentist, Dr. Stephen Carmona, who is amazing. Who's the guy that fixed my teeth 20 years ago. He lives an hour away from me, but I always go and see him because
will he forgive the cost if we throw his thank you in the credits? Because I'm willing.
He's already been paid, so I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get him somebody. But he, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna call him. So I called him, got the answering machine at the dental office. So I left a message. I wasn't expecting him to get back. Like, it's not an emergency. So I wasn't expecting him to get back to me. Within 15 minutes, my phone rang, and it's him. And I'm like, hello. And he's like, Steven. Yeah. He's like, David, Stephen. I'm like, yes. He's like, you know, what happened? And I'm like, oh, blah, 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 da, da, da. Freddy Krueger.
Did you go the Apple route, or did you tell?
No, I told him exactly what happened.
Okay.
Because he's the dentist, right? So I told him exactly what happened. And he
like,
said,
Dave, this wasn't an apple. What
yeah,
really
come
happened?
on. But he said to me, he goes, he says, like, I tell him I'm playing, you know, Freddy and blah, blah. And he even goes, he goes, well, it's good for Freddy. And I'm like, that's what everybody's saying. You know, so he said, look, is it an emergency? Like, are you in pain? Is it emergency? I said, no. He says, can you last the week? I said, yes. And I said, the crew would probably be thankful if I did with the hole in my face because it's great for Freddy. And he's like, okay. He says, I'll tell you what, don't see anybody down there. Come to me Monday morning, 11 a.m. Because I got back Sunday night. So that's what I did. So I got back and I saw him Monday morning, and he got we actually saved the piece. I was under the dumb impression that he was just going to reattach it again, but I give him the baggie and he's like, yeah, I don't need this.
Funny moment.
He throws it in the garbage.
By the way, just tying into that funny moment when we were in the makeup room, like when Dave was still recuperating, he's just like, yeah. Oh, do we have the piece? And Nora's like, yeah, I've got it in my pocket. And Dave looks at her like, yeah. And she's just like, no, it's in a baggie. And
right. Like, yeah. Yes, Nora put the tooth in a Ziploc bag and folded it up.
Dave's face though, when he didn't realize it was in a Ziploc, I could just see it was like, you just shoved it in your pocket.
Like, you shoved it in your pocket with your grimy makeup hands. Like, what's going on? No, but. So he just, I mean, obviously technology in dentistry has come a long way in 20 years. So he just rebuilt my tooth. He actually rebuilt, and you would never know.
No.
You never know.
No, I mean, we'll knock that shit out again for the next part, but, you know.
He rebuilt it, and it was great. I had a cleaning done, and he filled a cavity. So...
Oh, there you go.
I got the whole works done. But a really sort of... It threw me for a loop because so many things like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm on set. I just want to focus on the character and the movie and everybody. I don't want to have to worry about this, but I used that as an actor. I used the anger that I felt about that. Again, it was nobody's fault. I wasn't mad at Nora. I wasn't mad at anybody. It's just shit happens. But I used that to fuel the Freddy anger.
Mm-hmm. It definitely worked. By the way, people having fun with the Hatchet Bros, talking about Hatchet and stuff. The Hatchet Bros might have a particular enjoyment with Dylan's New Nightmare. Anyone that's kind of a fan of that franchise might enjoy Dylan's New Nightmare on a level. But I will say that, yeah, from the director's perspective, if I can just kind of let everyone in on my frame of mind when all this happened.
For sure.
So this happens, right? And we're basically... maybe 2 o'clock into a day that's likely going to go until 10 or so.
Yeah. Because I had just walked out on a set. Like, it's not like
he'd literally done 2 shots as Freddy, 2 shots. That's why I say there's 2 shots that will not feature the chipped tooth.
Yeah.
2 shots into Freddy. This happens. We still have 4.5 days of shooting left, 2.5 days of Freddy left. Only a half a day of this location left, and no idea whether or not we could come back and like break for the day and come back and finish tomorrow. And if so, oh, pardon me, how is that going to affect the rest of the schedule, right? That we already have strictly laid out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how is all this going to happen? I just immediately start Googling dentists while Dave is still there. processing. I just Googled dentists. I see like 15 things, and I'm just staring at my phone for probably 5 to 7 minutes, not doing anything, just staring at all these listings, just hoping the universe fixes my problem somehow, because I had no clue what to do. I was just like, this is all up to Dave. Like, if Dave says, guys, this is too much, we're done. Like, we're done for this week. Like, we're going to have to bring everyone back. We're going to have to raise more money. We're going to have to do this. The only chance this happens is if Dave somehow fucking, you know, just fucking decides not to let it bother him somehow, which I would completely understand if he was not able to do that. That's where my mindset is. All of this as I'm staring into my phone, looking at Google, you know, fucking dentists. And like, luckily people were like, okay. And Dave was like, I just need to absorb this. I just need to adjust. It's just a shock. Let me just take some time. Like, yes, please go take your time. And then I feel like Miko really stepped up in this moment, because he went back, sat down with you, like, he's like, this is actually really fucking cool, man.
He
like,
did. And I agreed 100%.
But he was like, this needs to get done. I don't want this to shake him. We're in a good place. Let's keep going. And he's just, you know, he just stepped up in a way that I wouldn't have asked or anticipated. And it was just like, shit. Like, and Dave was such a trooper. He made it work for the rest of the week. After that day, there was no issue with him talking. Like, there was no whistling, no nothing. He adjusted very quickly.
Well,
especially because of it was a Freddy delivery. You said it was easier to deliver as Freddy, right?
Yes. So it didn't impede on my ability to do Freddy Krueger's voice or you know, my Freddy voice. It didn't impede on that. It did, however, when we'd get back to the Airbnb and we'd all be sitting around chilling and talking, whatever. Look, the average person probably didn't notice. But for me, there were times when if I was talking a lot or if I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody, it would be difficult with certain words. And I'd feel a bit frustrated with certain things because it would begin to impede. But overall, it was fine. But the important thing is that it looks great for Freddy, and it did not hinder my ability to portray Freddy and the voice that I was doing for that character. So that's a positive.
Which is honestly, I think, a nice transition into that aspect of everything, the voice. So bear with me 1 second. Let me at least address Mother Mayhem. Have no fear, guys. I'll be Dave's understudy. Mother Mayhem, if you're interested in being involved, I've known you a long time. Jay's known you a long time. Like, if you're serious, you know, let's chat. There's room in the family, in the crew. You know, I'm bringing in YouTubers that actually can get the job done. So we can talk if you're actually interested. But yeah, it's funny you say that too, because we had another female, our costume designer, Courtney, who had a small role in the film. She was Dave's understudy, as it were, for the trailer. So she played Freddy in the trailer with Dave's voice overlaid. But yeah, it's not unheard of
for the Indiegogo trailer.
For the Indiegogo trailer, which, by the way,
yes, not the trailer.
Guys, if we're honest right now, Dave, can we be a little honest? I think we should be a little honest. I don't know if you agree with me, but I kind of hate that trailer now. I kind of hate.
I haven't watched it I haven't watched it in like 2 years, so I don't know. I'd have to watch it again.
Like, I'm really glad that there's a lot of people that really like the teaser and want to see what we can do. But what we shot last week compared to that teaser trailer, it's just fucking night and day difference.
Well, I think the teaser trailer, like what you did, it's like, I think the teaser trailer was fine. I mean, it served its purpose, right? Which was to spread awareness, and you had Miko in it. And I think it was well shot. Like, I don't like, it's not like I watched the teaser and was like, well, this looks like shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never thought that.
It looks good for a teaser.
Well, that's my point. That's my point.
Over 3 years, though, I've just like,
I understand.
We can do better than this.
Well, that's why
we did.
Yes, I agree. But I look at it like the Billy teaser we had for Indiegogo, and then you look at what we were able to produce for the film. You know, it's the same thing. I think it was fine for the Indiegogo campaign, but I agree with you in the sense that, yes, I think what we're going to deliver in terms of the movie is light years ahead of that, for sure.
100%.
As it should
yeah,
be.
Mother Mayhem, our MUA actually didn't show up 3 out of the 6 days. So yeah, we could have used you. So that's good to know for the future. So yeah, yeah. Okay, let me rewind a little bit. I don't want to get too far ahead or anything, but your voice. What I wanted to refer to with your voice is a point that you made to me before going into the production that I don't think you've ever actually made publicly on either of our channels. Some people had a problem with your voice in the trailer. And I think you identified part of the reason why is because there was no face to match the voice to. All they had to go on really was Robert's voice in the past.
Yep.
And you said to me, you're like, Cecil, I don't know if the voice is as much of an issue as we might think it is, as you might think it is, because I was concerned.
Yep.
I want to make sure it sounds as much like Freddy as possible. You're like, I think when people are looking at me delivering the lines, it's going to sound like Freddy. Without me there, it sounds like maybe someone trying to do an impression of Freddy, and it's not the same thing.
Well, and the voice
and after, sorry, just real quick, after seeing you do what you did, like many of us are not altogether convinced that we need to alter you very much, because your voice was so on point with your look that there's probably not, like, I want to see what it sounds like adjusted just a scotch. I want to see what it sounds like, but honest to God, I don't think we have a long distance to go based on your look and your voice. Like, you sounded like your version of Freddy, which is exactly what I would have asked for as a director, as opposed to you sounding like a version of Robert that is disconnected from your look as Freddy.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, no. And the voice you hear in the teaser, the Indiegogo teaser, is heavily processed. So I don't think we're going to need to go like that in the teaser. In the Indiegogo teaser, it sounds fine, you know, but it's you can tell it's been lowered. And sometimes in the Elm Street films, you can tell too. But I think it might depend, right? I mean, you might need to, maybe you want to lower me for, you know, a line here or there, but maybe there's a line where you don't feel you need to, you know, and it all depends. But with my approach to the voice, again, I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I'm not out to do a Robert Englund impression. You know, I'm going to fail. I mean, listen, I don't mean I'm going to fail as in the sense that I can't do a Robert Englund impression, but my job is not to do a Robert Englund impression. It's to become the character of Freddy Krueger. And so, you know, the voice that I did was, you know, I was deeper than my voice now. But I was delivering it. It's hard to, it's kind of hard to articulate without giving it away.
Sure.
It's just more about, it's about character. And so one thing in voiceover that we learn is, especially when it comes to animation, character, you create good characters, the voice will follow. And so, you know, that doesn't mean you can't come up with a voice first and then animate to that. But, Freddy is a known, established character. Robert Englund has done a great job at establishing the template for what that is. But what that is a spectrum. It's not one single thing like Darth Vader. It's not like you have funny Darth Vader and scary Darth Vader and deep Darth Vader and not deep Darth Vader. No, you have one Darth Vader. So there isn't a lot of wiggle room. There isn't a spectrum that you can move up and down on a sliding scale and be Freddy over here and be Freddy at the same time over here, or be Freddy here and be Freddy here, or combine them and be Freddy. So to have that leeway, to have that spectrum to play in, is great for me, because I was able to find my version of that on that spectrum. And it's a little bit of I'm not going to say it's a combination because obviously our film's not, hilarious, but I found a comfortable place that I feel very confident that when people watch and you have the wonderful makeup effects and everything going on, people are going to go, oh yeah, that's Freddy Krueger. 100%. They're not going to look at me and go, "Oh my God, it's Robert Englund." You know what I mean? They're going to look at me and go, "That's Freddy Krueger." And that's what you need. That's what you want. You don't want people, because if your litmus test is, does it sound and look like Robert? Because if it doesn't, I'm out. It's like, well, then you're never going to have Freddy Krueger ever again for the history of time. Nope. And that's not the way it should be. It should be, do you believe this is Freddy Krueger? And if there's essences of, little, things in there of Robert, little wisps of Robert from that movie or that movie, that's great. But you want that. But at the same time, it doesn't look like I'm doing, a cosplay, quasi karaoke version of Freddy Krueger walking around some convention. No offense to the cosplayers at the cosplay of Freddy Krueger, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? You watch and you go, yes, I believe this is Freddy Krueger. I don't believe this is somebody pretending to be Freddy. I believe I'm watching Elm Street. Yes. and that's my goal. So the voice is, there's a lot of room for me to play, and I found a sweet spot that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about.
So much a sweet spot. That at the risk of perhaps giving away something, I will say this, and it's not giving away any spoilers, but I will say this. I had written 2 specific jokes into the movie that were meant to be delivered in such a way that it would not come off as jokey Freddy. It would come off as very mean Freddy. But the Freddy that you cultivated made it so that it was pretty much necessary to cut these jokes. And I am 100% fine with that. The people that back the project, if anyone's interested, the Finishing Funds campaign is still open. And I'm going to be adding a perk next week where it is a script signed by the key players of the cast and crew. You will be able to see these jokes if you get this perk. However, in order to make sure that our Freddy was congruous through the entire thing, right? I didn't want to wait, he's really scary for this stuff, but then there's little, rather than dealing with that, we're just sticking with, oh, he was just fucking scary. Let's not take away from his scariness. Let's not risk taking away from his scariness with these mean-spirited jokes. Let's just keep him the level that he is at so far. And I think it was such a good decision for the film because, dude, again, this isn't spoilery. This is just saying that your Freddy is squarely in the scary, in my opinion, Freddy's Revenge style of Freddy, which is one of the things that we were looking for. I'm not talking about look or anything in specific. I'm just saying the vibe of the Freddy that we're going for is so far from the jokey Freddy that we get in later movies that I think people are going to just fucking be ecstatic about it.
Yeah. And that's intentional, right? I mean, it's my favorite. I mean, my favorite Elm Streets are the first 2. My favorite looks are the first 2, but my favorite look period is part 2. I love how scary and frightening he is. So that was an inspiration for sure. I mean, that's not a spoiler. I mean, that's just kind of a, you can expect that in terms of the inspiration that I had, because Freddy needs to be scary again. Mm-hmm. I know there are lots of people that love him jokey and whatnot, but I don't. I don't like Freddy's Dead. I don't like part 5. I'm lukewarm on part 4. Even 3. I like 3, but man, the way he is in 2, oh fuck. And so that was a big inspiration for sure, is to keep him dark. And that doesn't mean that you can't have a line or a thing he says, but he says it so seriously. Like the line is funny, but he says it so seriously, and he doesn't, he's not self-aware in the sense that he means what he says, I think is the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it.
I love just responding to chatters sometimes.
That's okay.
So I'm responding to chatters without spoiling in the video here, but so let me ask, Dave, did you have like a particular moment or series of moments that really stuck out to you when you were playing Freddy? Like, holy shit, this is fucking insane what I'm doing right now. That kind of thing.
Well, I think what was really cool is, so between the time that I got my head cast done and the time that we shot the movie, I've lost 20 pounds. And part of that was I needed to lose some weight. And another part of that was I want to be svelte like Robert was back then. So it was on purpose. Like I needed to lose a little bit of weight anyway, but I was like, oh, I can get back into sort of, you know what I mean? Like I can really kind of play on that svelteness. And there was a time at Sun Studios, I remember when, I won't say too much, but I was standing on my mark, and I had asked you for frame because I wanted to know sort of where I was, and you turned the monitor around so I could see, and it was a full body shot of me, and I'm looking at myself, and I was like, wow, do I ever look like Robert? You know, just because I'm not a big guy, you know, 5'8", 150 pounds, you know, like I was like, I really do. Like I mean, I'm not a rake, you know, but I mean, no. I think it paid off to lose that little bit extra weight that I had on, and I intend to keep it off anyway, because this is where I'm supposed to be anyway. But it's just that that was cool to see that. And then some of the BTS photos, there's a couple of ones where I'm, you know, I can't say too much, but you know, I'm looking to the side and it's a full body shot. And I'm like, yeah, I really see it. You know what I mean? Of course, but it's everything, right? It's not just me. It's sure. Okay. I'm 20 pounds lighter, so that's good. But you got Nora's, you know, work. You got the lighting. You got the costume. It's everything coming together to make me look the way I did. That was really exciting, because without that, I'm just, you know, me in a fucking hoodie and a baseball cap out there, you know. And so that was cool. And then the other thing that stands out to me too is the moment I knew I had locked into the character. And it was day one after the teeth incident. And it was during a take where I did not go out there to do this. And again, when I say do this, I want people to understand I'm talking about the nuances of the character. So there's something I do that is deliberate. I deliberately did this. I knew exactly what I was doing. It was absolutely intentional. I knew why I was doing it. And I did it because I knew how it was going to look. That's why I did it. But I didn't go out there to do it. It was in the moment, in the scene. And when I did it, I almost could feel you guys behind the monitor gasp in pleasure. Mm-hmm. And again, if we were to tell everybody here what it is, they'd probably like, oh, okay. Like, but it's so important.
You're talking about the shot.
I'm talking about the shot. It's so important because it's a moment that you go, that's it.
I literally did one of these just to bring everyone into it. I was watching the monitor and this moment happens. And I just literally went like, so just bear with me. Give me like a 10-second lead in to Dave. So I'm just watching the monitor.
Yeah. And it's
not like, that's literally what I had to do, because you can't be loud. You have to silently cheer. And when Dave did this moment, literally I'm just like,
yeah. I felt it.
Oh my
I could
God.
feel. I don't know if it's because I saw you.
Producer Dave's hands went on my shoulders and like just grabbed like real tight and was like, "Can you fucking believe we just got that?" I was like, "Yeah."
It was. And again, you know, to the average person out there, it might be like, so, but it's because
no one's going to be like,
no one. I just mean that because they don't know what we're talking about, their mind wanders into areas that are probably way bigger than what, you know, we're actually talking about. But
it's a little moment that is the most Freddy moment maybe of the entire thing.
Yeah. And it's a very particular type of Freddy.
Yep.
And I knew what I was doing. And it was that I felt it. And actors will tell you that all the time. I mean, when you're in the moment, you know the scene, right? You know the lines, you know what you have to do, you know the amount of wiggle room you may have, but you allowed me to play a little bit and to feel it, right? And again, day one for me, this might be, I don't know, it may have been my fifth shot, maybe sixth shot. I mean, we weren't that far into it. Mm-hmm. And I did something where I felt that was the moment. Like for me,
it was so good.
For me, that like if this was actually an audition for the actual role,
that's when everyone would have looked at each other and be like, that's
the moment that would have won me the audition.
Yeah.
You know,
like they would have literally looked at each other and been like, who else?
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah. Because it's nuance, right? It's all about, it's not a line, you know, I'll say that it's not a line. It's not a big thing. It's the thing where you go, it's like that meme with DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's doing the point, right? You know, he's doing the point.
He's got the whiskey or whatever.
Right. He's doing the point, you know, it's that moment where you go, that's it. There it is. That's what I'm looking for.
And it wasn't in the script.
No, not at all.
It wasn't. This was just literally, this is again, why I'm trying to not sound up my own ass about this.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make it too. I realize that because we can't talk spoilers and details, it makes it seem like really we're sucking our own dicks right now.
Right.
And grandiose, and like, oh, look at us, we're so amazing. Ha, we're so great. It does feel very self-indulgent. I understand that a lot of the stream does feel that.
I get it.
It does.
I get it. But
we don't mean it to be. We don't mean it to be.
When it comes out, you guys just circle back and watch this stream again, and you'll understand.
Yeah, I don't want anybody out there to think that we're talking what we're trying to. I don't mean it that way. It's just, as an actor, that was a moment. I'm playing Freddy Krueger. I'm playing Freddy Krueger in prosthetic makeup opposite Miko Hughes on set in Phoenix, Arizona.
In one of the best Freddy costumes.
In one of the best Freddy costumes since the actual series. Mm-hmm. And I'm there and I'm like, I'm taking this shit fucking seriously. And so, you know, that moment for me was when I felt dialed. I knew the direction at that moment. I knew what I wanted to do with the character. And that's all I need. But it sounds really self-indulgent, like we're sucking our own dicks because we can't say anything more than that, right? You know, if we could talk spoilers, it would sound less self-indulgent.
but when everyone gets to see what we're talking about, like that's the thing. When everyone gets to finally see, they're going to know that moment. And it's just like, it's going to be screen capped because we're going to release this image ahead of time.
I have the moment right now on my computer and I showed you before.
I know. It's all queued up, ready to go. But like,
I could see, guys, I don't want to say
just that, so you know, we plan to release 2 images this coming Tuesday. That's where you're going to get the world's first look on Tuesday. Hopefully some horror sites may cover it. You'll get to see 2 images on Tuesday, but we're not going to show you this image we keep talking about until maybe a month before release because it gives away a lot, but it also really showcases just how special our Freddy is. So special. And you guys are just going to be like, one of the things I've really wanted to do with this is honor Wes. And this, having seen what we captured, I am more confident than ever that people are going to want this Blu-ray or DVD next to their nightmare set. There's no way they're not going to want this because it makes sense that there's a new character playing Freddy because it's the entity. It's not necessarily Robert. We brought Miko back and he absolutely kills it. Nora kills the makeup. Mm-hmm. I mean, the story is a good time, a wonderful setup for the remainder of the story, which, by the way, during the wrap party, I believe we cracked most of what the rest of the story will be, and everyone is super fucking excited about it. So it's just a giant magical potion. Well, and I'm just drinking it in little ladles one of those as things, we go along.
If I could look at this as objectively as I possibly can, if I was not involved in the project and I was not playing Freddy whatsoever, if you showed me an image of what we've just been talking about here, I would look at that and go, whoa. I'd go, hang on. Like it's the kind of thing that that would be shared. Like, anyway, I don't want to say too much, but it's just like, wow,
well, we were looking at images.
That's
we
legit.
Were 15
like
minutes
that's
late
legit.
because we were looking at images.
Right. Yeah. So, and again, without context, without the ability to talk about spoilers, we understand it does sound very self-indulgent. And I get that. I understand that. And listen, film is art. You put it out there. You let the chips fall where they may. You hope that everybody or most people love what you put out or understand, what you were doing or the nuances or whatever the case is, but it's art and not everybody's going to like it. You always hope everybody does, but that's just the way it is. And there are going to be people that are going to totally see it. Oh, I totally get what they were saying. And they're going to be, that's just the fucking internet. And that's, the world. But I can certainly say, as objectively as I possibly can, as a filmmaker, taking the acting hat off, pretending I'm not Freddy at all, what you guys did this week was terrific. Was great, and you have some really great stuff that I think is going to is a great setup. Because remember, it's a short film, right? So it's not like this 90-minute feature, but it's a terrific setup. That hopefully will make people go, I want to see more of this now. Because that's the idea, right? So,
yeah, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point, which is very exciting. I'm not trying to count chickens before they hatch or anything, but
no.
There's only so much humble pie you can eat when you've seen the footage that we've put together. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be humble about it. I'm not trying to count chickens, but I'm also very aware of how the footage looked and how amazing it came out, and
it's
how
my home screen on my phone
going to be about it. Honestly,
it's my home screen on my phone. I have my phone right here. It's my home screen on my phone.
That
shot,
the whole scene that
we get to feature you
towards the end, like we showcase Freddy like a motherfucker when we get him, and like you get a wonderful first scene, you get a couple of wonderful scenes, but towards the end especially, like you just get to showcase your particular brand of Freddy, and it is so on brand. And like it's so funny because here's the thing, as filmmakers we were like, okay, we got to get coverage of this person, we got to get the wide, we got to get the medium, we got to get the close-up, then we got to get the Freddy close-ups, and we were filming it, and we filmed this person's close-up, and we're like, Dave, these are where you're at. These are your borders. Get in close. Just get in real close to do these few things. And I'm telling you guys, when I say that Dave getting like real close and kind of intimate with his delivery just made certain angles completely superfluous. No need to even film them, because like he just brought it so hard with certain angles that we pull up. You guys are just gonna, like, I'm trying not to say you're gonna piss yourselves. You may not piss yourselves, but you're gonna piss yourselves with enjoyment is where I'm going.
I think, again, looking at this as objectively as I possibly can, I think what's going to be most surprising for people, not necessarily viewers that watch me on the regular, but I think for a lot of people, it will be surprising to see the role and then go, that's Dave? Like that doesn't, that, you know what I mean? And for maybe casual viewers of mine, it'll be even more so. You mean the guy that's really loud and obnoxious and talks about Halloween? That's him. They're out there, but Dave. And I think that's fun. That's fun. I actually really like that.
I'm still not to cut you off, just real quick.
Fun.
Yeah, and just remember where you're at. Just real quick, I honestly do think there's going to be a contingent of people that are going to be like, I didn't know Robert came back for this.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I guarantee
you
think so? You think so?
Honest to God, I do think we'll at least get a few comments.
Hang on a second. I gotta unravel my pants here and take it out.
I'm serious. No, I really believe that there will be a few people that be like, what, when did he do this? Like, honest to God, it's that high quality. Granted, we did miss the opportunity to have you as Freddy do the But Dave.
I know.
I felt bad about that after the
I
fact. I was like, oh, we didn't.
It's because do you want to know what it is? It's because every time we finished, it was very late.
Oh, and I finished a lot.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
Nora, and Nora, you know, like I would have, like, ironically enough, I was very comfortable in the makeup and very comfortable in everything. And even though I was in it for like 9 or 10 hours, I could have been in, I mean, who knows what would have happened, but I felt like I could have gone for another 4. But the problem was by the time we were done, it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Nora wanted to go back to the hotel, right? So we
because
couldn't.
all of us had been going for the extra 5 hours that you were in the chair.
Right. So it's like, as much as I did take a few things of me rehearsing in the bathroom and doing some funny Freddy things and all that kind of stuff.
There might be some fun for your channel down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had to do that. So, and yours, that's right. And Jay's from Bloodbath TV.
Yeah, Jay really scored.
He did.
He got the end where you were fine tuned.
I was. Yeah, he did. That's right. It was, the fucking right before the rap party. No, I guess the rap party. Yeah, no, the rap party was the next day. But there would have been more time to play and to do that kind of stuff if I had finished at like, 2 p.m, or something. And then, or we all would have finished at 2 p.m. Well, then we could, you know what I mean? But, it takes an hour and like 20 minutes to get out of the makeup. It takes 4.5 hours to get into the makeup. So, it is sort of it's a process. It's not something you just put on, which is why the last day I was in the makeup, I said, okay, that's a wrap on Freddy, or you said that. And I'm like, okay, that's a wrap for the day.
Who wants pictures?
Who wants pictures? That's right. Like, we should get some photos. We should get some pictures doing, whatever. Right. Because as soon as this comes off, I can't just go into the room and put it back on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right. No, yeah. And you were very, very gracious about that, by the way. So gracious about that. And it's funny because we had planned before that last day, we're like, oh, this shouldn't take long. And then we'll have like a few extra hours of Freddy. We'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that. And then it turns out that like the thing I thought would go pretty quickly was a pretty fucking imperative scene, like the big kill of the movie. And I had just like assumed we'd be able to fly through it in 2 hours, and it ended up taking 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so by the end, there like wasn't that much extra time, but we killed that kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it came out so good.
There was a lot of blocking that you had to figure out and rehearse and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mother Mayhem. I swear I have D&M blue balls right now with all the teasing and build up.
That's funny. Well, let me ask you.
Actually, can you maybe talk to the audience for just 30 seconds while I go pee-pee?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. No problem.
I'm talking very manly. Very manly. I gotta go
very, very manly of you. Let me get some of these super chats that I know came in. Let me go all the way back here. Super chat from Cody Snyder sends in $5. Thanks, Cody. Says, might as well get these started. They're happening tonight, people. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that, my man. Andrew Stevens sends in $5. Oh, by the way, Andrew, I did get your package, by the way. It came. I just been so busy and everything going on. I haven't had a chance to kind of make an announcement and thank you for it, but thank you. Awesome. It's on my shelf right now. I really appreciate it, man. Sends in $5, says, ladies and gentlemen, the voice man that drinks his chocolate milk at dinners or diners. Dinner? I don't have my glasses on. The Canadian and love, Mr. Dave McRae. Oh, thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate that. Ken B, $2, says, can't wait to see DNN. It's going to be awesome. I agree. Jeffrey M sends in $5, says, can I audition for Billy the Killer in your new movie? I'm 6'4" and can pull off the voices. No, the role has already been filled. Chad Powers sends in $2 with the message was detracted. I saw a few that happen. Thank you to Darren Sands for doing that. Guys, I mean, listen, if you want to send in $2, $5, whatever, and ask silly things, but that doesn't mean I have to answer it. Just to let you know, let's try and keep things on topic. Matthew Farisi sends in $4.99, says, definitely due for a rewatch of New Nightmare. I generally stick to Nightmare 1 through 3. 4 to 6 are not my cup of tea, to say the least. Yeah, I would give New Nightmare another watch for sure. Gabagoo sends in a useless question, but sent in $2. Thanks, Gabagoo. Appreciate it. DR sends in $2 and says, but Dave, can't wait to see you as Fred. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you. Chad Powers had his message detracted because it probably had nothing to do with anything, but he sent in $2 anyway. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. And then Gary sends in $5, says Halloween Ends had a 90% drop due to Black Panther's release. What are you doing? Get off your behind and go see Halloween Ends at your local cinema as soon as possible. Are we still talking about Halloween Ends, Gary? Are we still talking about Halloween Ends? It should be over. Matt Rayner sends in $6.99, says, hey, Cecil, with all the behind the scenes stuff you mentioned in the beginning, be part of the digital download pack. I guess that will some of the behind the scenes stuff be a part of the digital download pack?
Not all of it. No,
right.
Some of the behind the scenes will be just on the Blu-ray itself. We did dial in what was going to be on the digital download, which I think is the movie, the soundtrack, the script, and I think maybe one other thing. No, the BTS is not necessarily part of the digital download pack. So
right.
If you haven't grabbed a Blu-ray or a DVD, I would recommend doing so. The Blu-ray is going to be packed with BTS. I've been filming behind the scenes from the very beginning.
We're talking like Lord of the Rings epic shit.
Yeah, lots of shit. And that's to say nothing of the actual BTS of the film itself. So
right.
Yeah, there's lots of shit coming. So it's worth it to check out the Blu-ray or the DVD if you haven't and you've only gotten the digital download. We can't include all of it in the digital download.
No,
we have to be able to make it a little special for the Blu-ray.
That's right. You have to entice people to get the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and Mother Mayhem's right. Yeah, I'm a dad now, so PP is my.
That's
it's just
true.
how it goes.
It's PP and poo poo. It would be really funny if you're like, Dave, can you talk for like 10 minutes? I just got to go poo poo.
I got to go poo poo PP real quick.
But you say it like dead serious. You know, like you don't even realize you've said it.
Dave, I got a poo poo. Right? Just leave me alone. What was the question you had, please?
The question I had.
You said, I got a question for you. And then I said, can I go?
Oh, yeah.
First?
I'll get to that in a second. Okay, One last super chat here. Then we're caught up. $4.99 from Skate Punk Fan 1991 says, when can we expect a trailer? Dave, you were the perfect choice for Freddy. You're a legend. Well, I don't know if I'm a legend. I'm certainly not a legend, but I appreciate the vote of confidence for the Freddy role, man. I really appreciate that. When can we see a trailer, or when can we expect a trailer, Cecil?
So we are going to be aiming to release the film in summer of 2023, if not a little bit earlier. Just depends on how quickly the post-production process can go. Trailer wise, I would hope we could get something together by maybe January, maybe February at the latest. We'll see. I don't know that it will be. See, that's the thing. It depends on if I want to do a trailer full color correction or full sound mix. Like, I feel like we need to have all that done. I don't want to show an inferior version of the product. So, sometime in Q1 of 2023, I would hope to present a trailer. I would hesitate to give you an exact date or time frame. But if the shark that is circling the project for editing purposes ends up taking part, then things might move a little bit faster than they would have otherwise, because this shark would need to squeeze it in amongst their other bigger projects, and it would only take them a couple of weeks. So if we get that done, then we can go to color, then we can go to sound, and we have some wonderful resources when it comes to those particular things. So yeah, it's hi, yes. So summer 2023 isn't going to work for me. Can I interest you in next week? I'm willing to wait until next month.
That's funny.
Thank you, Mother Mayhem. No, honestly, we just want to make sure that the final product is at the level of the footage that we just got. And I had originally intended to edit the movie with producer Dave, and we had originally intended to try and do the effects, but when it came around to this person possibly wanting to do the edit, it's like, why would I'm not going to have a big head about it. Like, I'm not a professional editor. I've been editing the horror show for years, but that doesn't mean I know the ins and outs of editing a narrative, let alone a horror narrative. So I would think that deferring to someone that has been doing that exact thing on a much larger scale for the last number of years would be pretty fucking stupid of me to not take advantage of, especially when they're like, okay, let's see what happens in the finishing funds campaign, but I just want to edit it. You know what I mean?
Right,
And it's
right.
like, sweet. That's the kind of, help that we want. And if they are that much believing in the product already,
Yeah.
I mean, it really just goes to bolster our confidence in the project.
So my question for you was, I'm going to turn it around on you, which is what do you take away from the week? Like what's your most memorable moment or sequence of memorable moments? When you think back on the week, what will you remember? What are you most proud of? What now, I mean, you've had a week to kind of, well, not even a week, but you've had some time to process it, take it in. How do you feel about it now?
I mean,
He's still processing it, folks.
I'm just trying to figure out how best to answer. It's because I kind of fell out of love with the teaser relatively quickly, but that is not happening with this film. Like, the filming was so wonderful. Everyone brought such their A game. We tapped into a scary Freddy that people haven't seen in years and they're going to lose their minds about. We tapped into the nightmare mythos with Miko in a way that no one has since 2003, if you want to consider Freddy versus Jason, a voyage into the mythos. Otherwise, not since 1994 with New Nightmare. So literally almost 30 years. If you look at it that way. And to me, this is the most serious take on Freddy we've gotten since 1994. Nightmare 2010 tried to do a serious thing, but it just muddled the waters in so many different ways that it just didn't work out. And we didn't do that. We were very straightforward. We piggybacked on a story that Wes himself created, the last Nightmare story that Wes himself created. The entire project has been in order to honor Wes and what he did. And I think that everyone really just brought their A game, so much so that at the risk of sounding conceited, I really do think we managed to honor Wes. And it's just a matter at this point of me making sure that the post-production is as high quality as the regular production was. Like, I'm not going to have a big head about it and say only my vision is going to be the best vision. No, I don't know all the editing tricks that an actual LA editor would know. You know what I mean? So I'm going to yield to the people that can make the project as good as it possibly can be, which is what I did for the actual production, and look what we got out of it. So, I'm just going to rely on having assembled the team and make sure it produced at the level we want. But as far as particular moments that you're asking, when you first came out as Freddy is one of them. When you did the thing that we can't release as a shot, that's absolutely one of them, because that to me is where I was like, oh, literally Dave could be the new Hollywood Freddy. Literally, without question, Dave could be the new Hollywood Freddy based on these little choices alone on day one that he's making. So those are moments. The two moments where Miko really just brought it. Again, I'm not going to ruin anything, but there's two particular moments that I was just like, I didn't know we'd get. And I was so happy that we did. And it's going to raise the level of the movie. So those moments, when you got to really cut loose as Freddy towards the end of the project with the big kill, I thought that was great. Like, there's so many moments that I can look back on. Like, that's the wonderful thing. There's very little I would look back on with anything but a smile for these 6 days. And that in and of itself is a rare phenomenon.
Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand that. When you make a movie, it's a, especially low budget indie horror short, relatively one location, you become a little family for the week. And that's what happened. And thankfully everybody got along and worked really hard to to bring something to the table that hopefully everybody will like. You know, again, not every, I mean, you know, it's art, right? You let the chips fall where they may, as I keep saying, but it definitely, we didn't leave anything on the table. I think that's safe to say. You know, we did put it all out there, and we'll see what happens. See what happens. Anything else you want to say? I want to take some questions, or?
Yeah, we can take some questions. I mean, I think regarding the actual production, we've covered kind of what we can cover.
I know. I'm just trying to think. There's you know, there's other things we could say, but well, I guess we could say this because they're on IMDb as well, right? So we can say Ron Sloan is in the movie.
Yep.
Right.
Cindy Kania.
Right.
Also.
Exactly. From
both really killed it. And what's really fun is two of the people, Vinny and Ben. So there's going to be an update on our Indiegogo in the near future, but our DP changed. We no longer have Renee Rivas on board, and now we have Ben Meredith on board instead. And he did such a fantastic job that, like, he was even really excited about the whole thing, and he brought it to life in a way that, you know, the film probably would never have been brought to life otherwise. So, I mean, outside of that, we just don't want to say very much to spoil anything, but it was just such a wonderful experience, and everyone super brought their A game. It's just incredible. Yeah,
you want to let it, you know, speak for itself, because again, for those of you that might be tuning in or watching after the fact, we realize we recognize how, you know, self-indulgent circle jerk this stream may sound,
right?
But it's only because we can only talk so much about something, and we can't go all the way to give context and to reveal everything. So it just sounds like, you know, we have this little secret that you guys can't be a part of. Oh, we're so good. We're so amazing. And it totally comes across like that, but it's not because it's like that. It's because we can't spoil anything.
Right.
So, but we wanted to jump on and do this stream because we wanted to do, you know, a debrief, and cause I mean, I haven't been on here in, you know, 18 days, and I wanted to reconnect with everybody and talk about how the week went. I mean, it was a really, really cool week, and it was a lot of fun, and I just can't wait for the first look images to be released next week. I'm very excited about that, and I after we're done here, we're gonna take another look, because I want to nudge you in a certain direction with some of these things we're looking at. I just think it's I can't wait for people to see it for first look. You know, I think people will be like, oh, wow, very cool. You know,
Robert the Wolfman in the chat says, so Robert was our cook, our chef.
Right, Robert. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Great cook. Great.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
I had some of the best meals I'd had in months.
It was great. You know, granted, we got to the meals a little bit cold sometimes because we were shooting a little bit late, but Robert did an excellent job. He said it was a pleasure sharing a roof for a week. Dave loves his chocolate milk.
I do. Well, when we got there, it was funny. He had everything. And I did. And peanut butter. I'm glad peanut butter was there too, because I needed my peanut butter. Peanut butter, for future reference, stock up on peanut butter, chocolate milk, and a toaster, and I think we'll be fine.
Yes. Yeah, we were lacking one of those things, but right. But Robert also says Ben was so amazing. His camera work was fantastic, which actually makes me think, Dave, is there any particular side of the production that surprised you at the quality? And I won't take any offense to this. Is there anything where you're like, oh, damn, I just didn't expect it to be that fucking good? Or if you did, like, if everything met your expectations, more's the better. But I wouldn't blame you if there was that thing that crossed your mind.
No, I was not surprised. And that's not because that actually is a very positive thing, because of the talent and the people that were involved. I would have been surprised if it didn't turn out the way it did. And again, I mean, look, the film's in post-production, you know, there's a lot of things that it has to go through, you know, but in terms of the actual shoot and the quality of the people and the quality of the ideas and the quality of the camaraderie and the exchange of creative ideas, and I wasn't surprised at all, you know, and the work that Ben was doing, or the work that Miko was doing, or Not at all. I mean, it made sense. It's what you would expect. I expected it to be of quality, you know? So, yeah. And that's a positive thing. You know what I mean? That's a positive thing. I was not going down there. I was never worried or apprehensive about the quality of the work that was going to be done because of the people that were involved. You know, my mind was just in delivering a performance of Freddy Krueger that people go, that's Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? That's where my mind was.
You did it so well. It's a little mind-boggling to me because you literally came down, and I had seen you do your thing, but you literally came down and just it's as if a Freddy's skin was just laying off to the side of the camera, and you just were the guy that was like, I'll wear it, and you literally just stepped into it, fucking threw it on, and just became him like you're a fucking skinwalker. It's just it's so
the makeup
crazy.
Helps.
Well,
the makeup
yeah,
helps.
of course. And look, we're already getting new contributions. I'm getting notifications just based on this stream. So if you're watching still and you just contributed, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you just did such a great job. It doesn't, between you and Miko, it just didn't feel like a fan film. And Ron and Cindy brought their A game so much that it did not feel like a fan film. What I was going to say is Vin and Ben had worked with Ron on previous features, and even they were like, God, it was weird seeing Ron do this role because we've never seen him like this. And that tickled me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. I mean, you know, it's, fuck, I forget what I was going to say now. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, I had something on the top of my head. I forget what I was going to say. But yeah, I mean, anyways, maybe it'll come back to me, but it was a great, that's what it was. I think, and I tweeted this, and I tweet again, not to be self-indulgent, but just that it's a vote of confidence, you know, and it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. Everybody that said, dude, you really brought it. You did. Everybody that said it meant a lot to me because, you know, I would expect that if they didn't feel that way, they just wouldn't say anything. That's the kind of person I am. I just wouldn't say anything. I mean, if I was the director, I would try to get them to, you know, actually, you know, bring it. But in terms of just being like a crew member, why would I go out of my way to say something that's not true? But when Miko said it, it meant a lot because, I mean, there's a guy, he was like 8 years old, but there's only one person in the room that's actually worked opposite Robert and who sees him regularly at conventions. And that's Miko Hughes. And for him at the wrap party, or just before the wrap party began, when we were having sort of our little powwow there and you're handing things out.
Circle up.
That's right. He said, you know, and he was giving a bit of a speech. He turned to me and he says, Dave, I mean, as in my mind, as far as I'm concerned, you are Freddy. And he meant it, you know, and that meant a lot, you know, because again, there's, you know, he's actually worked with the guy that essentially created the character, you know, I mean, obviously Wes wrote it, but I mean, like he brought it to life. So that meant a lot. I feel very I felt, let's put it this way. I felt very comfortable in the makeup. I felt very comfortable in the role, in the outfit. I felt, and again, this sounds like a big circle jerk dick suck, but I really do mean this. I felt like I was born to play that role in that moment. It doesn't mean I'm going to, but I'm just saying in that moment, I felt it. You know, I was dialed in, I was locked in, and it felt good. It felt good. Like everything from even just the, you know, you sure, you know, you're okay putting like the makeup on. I'm like, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Now, maybe if I had to do that, you know, for 35 days on a feature for 5 or 8 movies, yeah, maybe I'd start to feel it a little bit, but
they'd break it up for you though.
Yeah. That's true. But in that moment, I felt it. I felt it totally. 100%. It was a blast.
Frank Riker sends in $5 saying, Cecil, please tell me one of Dave's line is, oh, you think I'm your daddy? Wrong. So I would have, except it's a part 6 line, and I already fucked up in our behind the scenes stream when I was there, thinking that a part 6 line was a part 2 line. So I got to be very careful when it comes to part 6 lines. No, I did not ape from any of the past. Like I did at most homages. I did not lift any direct dialogue or anything.
No, I've seen people say already that, you better have, welcome to prime time, bitch, all that kind of stuff. And, I need people, we need people to understand that, yes, it's a fan film, but we're not doing our own version of those movies. We're doing a direct sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So it would make no sense to repeat that line. I mean, look, could you make it make sense? Sure. But it doesn't make any sense. So it's a direct
The Entity
sequel.
was technically funny Freddy too. Technically.
That's true. Fair enough.
So that is in its DNA, but that's not
sure.
what we wanted to lean into.
But to repeat that line would be... It just doesn't make any sense to me, to repeat that line. So no, there are no lines from previous movies in the movie. There's, again, guys, it's a short film, right? So it's not like you have 90 minutes here. But there are a few lines in there that are our own. So.
Yeah, 100%. And
I just wanted to.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry,
please.
I just wanted to scroll back, make sure I get. Yes, so Frank had sent one in earlier, sent in $5. Thank you, Frank. And says, just picked up my Blu-ray because I know the crew and cast are going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, we got another contribution. That's 2 just from this stream alone.
Amazing. And Robert Kitzmiller sends in $5, says, resubmitted my updated photo, perk, a few days before you guys started shooting. Hopefully it wasn't too late.
No, it probably was a bit too late, Robert.
Probably
was a bit too late. But when you get to see how your photo, how your image was used in the movie, I think you'll be very happy, because one of the coolest shots in the movie involved that particular perk.
Very cool. Very cool. Peter, I don't have my glasses on. Maltazos, I think is how you say that. Sends in $27.99. Thank you, buddy. It says, hey, Dave, I recently released a short Halloween film. It's only a minute and was inspired by your short films you did. I was wondering if I could get some feedback. It's called Halloween Silent Night by Horoscope Studios. Peter, if it's only a minute, that's probably pretty manageable for me. Send it to my Many Things, send me a DM through my Many Things Dave McRae Facebook page. The link is in the description. Send me a DM there with a link. And if it's only a minute, that's probably something I could give some feedback on. I usually have to turn those things down because people like to send me stuff that's 40 minutes long, or they want to send me like a 90-page, script. And I just don't have time for that. It's not personal. It's just, I don't have time for that. But if it's only like a minute, 60 seconds, that's not too bad. Yeah. Send me a DM there and I'll take a look.
Oh, David, another Halloween fan film. That's what the world needs. I understand the feeling, David, but let's not stifle anyone's creativity. I do feel you. But there's a lot of Halloween fan films. That's part of why I'm so excited about what we've done. There's just no, Vinny has even said, he's like, there's just no nightmare anything that has come out that's been on the level that we have just created.
Well, and I think it's
since 2010.
Yeah, I think it's because, and again, shout out to the people that make amazing silicone masks. Like there are some outstanding. I would love to have an Elm Street 2 silicone mask and hat. Are you fucking kidding me? I would love to have that shit. I don't have it, but I would love to have it. Anybody? No, but I would absolutely love to have that. My address is Dave McRae. So no, but I would, right? And they're amazing. But depending on how you craft your lighting and your shots, you can usually tell that the actor is wearing a silicone mask. And where you can tell, not just in, it's not just
contributions. Sorry.
Oh, amazing. Awesome.
Third. Yep.
Awesome. It's not necessarily in the still photos, because the still photos, depending on the lighting or how far, you are away from the camera, it can be pretty convincing. But in fan films, and I understand why you're going to use it, because most people don't have Nora Hewitt to do their makeup, and most people don't want to sit for 6 or, for 5 hours in a makeup chair. So I get that. It makes perfect sense why you would do that. But on the close-ups, and if you're watching them speak, that's when you start to tell that they're wearing a mask, because they can't, although they can open their mouths, you know, not too bad.
You can articulate some.
They can articulate some. You can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that in the silicone mask. And if you can, it's pretty stiff. But with prosthetic makeup, you can do that, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a difference in the quality in terms of the articulation, in terms of it looking real, like the person's face, and being to articulate and how the eyes come out and things like that. Definitely the prosthetic makeup is still where it's at in terms of that regard. But again, that's not to take anything away from the silicone mask, because like I said, depending on the shot and how you craft your shots and lighting, and maybe it's a still photo, they're fucking amazing. Like, they're fucking brilliant. They are. Mm-hmm. But we've gone that extra, right? That extra mile to what they did with Robert back in the day. And it's just really, really cool. I forget where I was going with that now. I was going somewhere with that now, and I totally forget. What a shock. What a shock.
I mean, that just makes sense, though, that we're leaning into what Robert did so well as Freddy, and it worked so well for us too. We're just not trying to do any shortcuts. We're trying to make sure that we put the budget where it's supposed to be. Mother Mayhem says, people are intimidated by Freddy. It's one thing to wear a mask. It's another to speak and embody the full character. And I think that's a wonderful explanation of the difference. And you really killed that difference.
Well, I think
it's so easy for me right now to be like, everyone's going to love you as Freddy and stuff. But
not
you guys have to understand.
Not everyone will.
But even besides all that, that's coming from, yes, I'm biased because you're technically my Freddy, but I'm not an easy critic. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't have done this movie were we not able to raise the funds that we did to make this movie, because I don't want to put out an inferior product.
Right.
You just knocked it out so well that it's like, it just made everything else easier. And
well, what's important, and again, not to, for lack of sounding like I'm tooting my own horn, and I'm not really, this goes for anybody. I'm an actor, and I'm a trained actor, and that's who you hired. Yeah, for the vast majority of people out there, I'm Dave McRae, the YouTuber, like I said at the beginning of the show. But I have a career and a life outside of this. And, you know, most people, again, that dress up as Freddy or cosplay as Freddy are not actors. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't know. They're you know, doing an impression and walking around going, prime time, but that's fine. And that works for Halloween. It works for conventions. But when you want to become Freddy Krueger, that's a completely different thing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if it wasn't me that you chose and you said, Dave, I would have said to you, hire an actor. Hire somebody who understands the art of acting. Hire someone who understands the performance. Maybe even hire somebody who comes from the theater. You know, like, hire a trained actor. That would have been my advice to you, because don't get your buddy down the street who can crack a couple of one-lines and who likes to dress up as Freddy as Halloween, because that's not you need to bring it to a different level. You know, you have to bring it to that level. That's why Robert was so great. Robert's a trained actor. People don't understand. People forget. I think he was trained at, was it Juilliard or was it somewhere or whatever? Or is that the dance play? Maybe that's the dance company. I can't remember. But he's a trained actor. Robert's a trained actor who has theater experience as well, right? Which is why he's very theatrical and, you know, flamboyant and this. So he brings that under there, right? You need somebody like, again, depending on the, you know, what you're doing, and it can be nuanced, but Robert can also dial it in and go dark, right? And be creepy and evil and fucking crazy, because you've hired a really good actor, a character actor. And that's what you need. So again, for me, that's what it was all about. I just was bringing my knowledge, and I'm not saying I'm the best actor in the world. I'm just simply saying that that's how I grew up. I'm trained that way, and I love to perform and act. I have theater experience, and so I brought all my tools, albeit I haven't, you know, performed on screen in a while, but I brought all my tools to the game. And because I knew I'm not dressing up as Freddy for Halloween. I'm not going to a convention. I'm becoming Freddy Krueger. That's different. That's a different level. So again, I know that sounds very self-indulgent. I don't mean it to be at all. I don't mean it to be. I'm just giving you perspective of where my mindset was. That's where my mindset was.
And Steak Sauce says, I love addressing the commenters by their titles. Steak Sauce says, while I do think Cecil is exaggerating on this Freddy film, I do believe that Dave will make a good Freddy. So not sure. I mean, I guess I could be overinflating as the director trying to build up hype. So I understand that concern. I do believe Dave will make a good Freddy. Yes, just cling to that belief. You don't have to believe me. Just trust me when I say that Dave's not going to lead you guys astray.
No.
And I am talking it up because as a person that loves Freddy Krueger more than any other slasher in the genre, like, I am a very tough critic when it comes to this. Yes, it's my movie, but I wouldn't have ever done this movie if I wasn't able to raise $40K to do it, because I am not the kind of person that's willing to do, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah,
like, I'm not.
Yeah,
and this is not what I'd say is good enough. This is what I would say is a fucking good Freddy movie. So, like, I'm a tough critic. I get it. I'm very close to the project and I can understand the apprehension of believing what 100%. I say, but I am not the only one that said this. You can go back to tweets from the day that we wrapped, from Bloodbath TV, from Womp Stomp Films, from Nora Hewitt, from Ben Meredith. Like, everyone had a tweet about how amazing the experience was and how wonderful Dave McRae was as Freddy.
And Miko
that's
as well.
Not all coming from me, guys.
Yeah,
that's coming from people literally involved in the project.
And, you know, Vince, you know, he has a ton of experience and has been in this sort of fan film, high quality fan film space for a while. And for him to say that, he means it. He's not the kind of guy that would say it, you know, if he didn't mean it. But at the same time, again, recognize, because we can't talk about spoilers or context, this whole stream really does seem like a circle jerk. And I totally understand that. But I think people should be skeptical. Be skeptical. Because if you're not skeptical, you're gullible, right? So be skeptical. Think about it. You know, go, I'm not so sure. I don't know. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The director says his movie is amazing. What a shock. Totally understand that, right? Oh, the guy playing for... Totally get that. I think people just need to keep their expectations in check, understand that it's a short film, right? So it's not like it's a 90-minute feature where you have all this time to sit with these characters. It's the setup, because Cecil has a lot more he wants to tell, right? He's got a lot. If this thing is successful, he has other ideas. So it's like a pilot episode, right? It's the setup. And just kind of go, okay, and go in and just kind of take it as is. That's the problem when you can't, you know, talk too much about context, is that you can set unrealistic expectation for the viewers. And I just want people to understand that, you know, just, you know, we're not saying it's the next coming here. I think I think what people are saying is that they are pleasantly surprised and thrilled of how good the shoot turned out and how on point everybody's performance was. Not just mine. Mine. Miko's performance was, I mean, you know, brilliant. He brought it.
Yeah.
Ron and hype, Cindy, same thing.
The hype is really real. I mean, Jay, Bloodbath TV says, as also a tough critic, I'd tell Cecil it sucks if it did. And he would. And he said, there's no obligation for me to say this is solid. If it sucked, I'd just stay quiet or be loud. Yeah. But he's very on board with it, just like and there was everyone else was.
What's the gentleman's name again who picked us up from the airport? I always forget his name. It begins with an M. Mahala, that's it. Yep. He came up to me like I guess maybe was it the third day or whatever? And he said to me, he goes, dude, you know, when I picked you up from the airport, I love how honest he was. He says, when I picked you up from the airport, I was very skeptical because I never met you before. And I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't think he's tall enough. I don't know if I don't know, but I didn't know. He says, I didn't know. He says, fuck that. He says, you're Freddy Krueger. And again, that's not me saying that. That's him telling me that. And I only say that because it gave me the vote of confidence that I was doing the right thing, that I was on the right track. But I find those little things funny. But again, this whole stream, don't mean it to sound that way, but but we'll see, right? We'll see. Wait till the first image is released, and then you can gnaw on that for a while, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let's take some questions here while we rejuvenate our while we sort of rejuvenate our testicles.
Maybe stick by your computers and phones on Tuesday is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Austin Frites? Am I saying that right? I feel like Dave isn't going to go with the original Freddy voice. He's got a voice of his own to add. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's true. I'll just say that's true, but it's not like I'm like, hey man, it's still Freddy Krueger. It's still the same type of thing.
Contribution 4.
Nice. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Let me see here. David Irwin says, I just hope the skin to cat line is in this. That's my favorite Freddy one-liner. Amazing. Very cool. Steak sauce. Cecil got the steak sauce one.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Johnson says, I think Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, is objectively the best in the franchise, but I think I might find Dream Warriors the most enjoyable. Just random and less useless thought I wanted to share. It's not useless. I think a lot of people feel the same way as you. I generally like the Freddy films in order. So 1's my favorite, 2's my second favorite, 3's next, 4's next. Like I kind of like them in order.
I have a question for you, Dave, that might kill a little bit of time while you're looking at other stuff.
Yeah.
How did you like hanging out with Miko and everyone after the shoot and everything?
Fucking hated it. Oh God, it was awful. No, it was great. It was great. I loved how, I mean, I'm not a
fucking hated everyone, man. Fucking doorways. I
was just gonna say, how's the doorway? How's the doorway?
Go ahead, tell the story.
How's it? Okay, so this isn't even the wrap party.
No,
this is the night before. So
I was very happy a number of nights after shooting. I'm gonna say.
I had wrapped Freddy. We were done with me.
Yes.
And Nora and Mahala, right? That's his name.
Mahala. Yeah. Yep.
Mahalo.
Hawaii.
Right.
Mahalo.
Right. Had taken off my makeup and now it was like, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Myself and producer Dave had a great conversation at the dining room table, talking movies and all that kind of stuff, which was fun. And then most people had gone to bed or left to go back to the hotel. And Cecil and Dave were in the kitchen chatting up. It's got to be about, God, we were up late that night. It had to be about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Almost, yeah.
No, I think it was like 4 or something.
Yeah, because we didn't get home until 5. Didn't get to sleep
you
until
weren't staying there. So
that day.
Staying at the Airbnb was myself, Robert, Vince and Ben, and Miko.
Right.
Right. And you and Dave were staying at your house because you lived down the street.
Let's not forget about Jay.
Oh yeah, and Jay. That's right. And Jay as well.
Yep.
And
Mother Mayhem if she decides to join next time.
And then Nora was at
Nora chose to get a hotel room because she knows how hard it is to go to sleep when we're surrounded by the energy that we were surrounded by the
energy of male testosterone.
Yeah, that too.
But anyway, so this isn't even, so it's Friday night. So it's a week tonight. And, or early Thursday, or excuse me, early Saturday.
Weird to think about.
And
it
so
was only a week ago we were still shooting.
It's like 4:30 in the morning. You were drinking. I'm not a big drinker at all, so I didn't drink.
Lots of chocolate milk.
I had lots of chocolate milk, and I'm standing in the kitchen, and the only 3 people left standing were me, you, and producer Dave. Mm-hmm. And we're in the kitchen, and you can tell that you've had a few. And Dave's talking about something, and then you point to the doorway behind him, and you're like, you have the shot glass in your hand, and you go, so what about, and this is no exaggeration. Like the voice, it's no exaggeration. You're literally like,
So what about the door frame? We gotta make sure it's the door frame.
And Dave looks back, because I don't think he had anything to drink either. And he looks back and he's like, what about the door frame? And you went,
I don't fucking know. I gotta go because I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
you had no idea, literally no idea what that even meant. Like, nope. And still to this day, I have no idea what you were trying to say, but it's an inside joke I will never let you live down because it's fucking funny. I'm just going to text it to you out of the blue one day.
Yeah. Occasionally I just go, so Dave, about this doorway. Like, that's all it'll need.
Right.
That's all it'll need.
That's right. That was fun.
Look,
but no,
I mean,
hanging out.
I had a lot to drink. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I just want to say hanging out with everybody was a lot of fun. You know, the wrap party was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just us at the Airbnb, just sitting there talking, chilling, having fun, talking movies, talking about DNN, talking about the experience. It was just a lot of fun. You know, I really enjoyed hanging with everybody and making new friends. You know, I mean, that's some of the best things that come from making a little low budget indie shoot. Cause that's what, it's Me Billy was as well. You know, you become a fan, especially when, like, the parallels between those two shoots, although you had Sun Studios, it's primarily one location for all intents and purposes, right?
Right.
And when you are at one location and you really sort of, and you don't have to spend a lot of time tearing down and setting up, and all that kind of stuff, because you can leave things set up, you can put things to the side because you're coming back to it the next morning. It really builds that sense of family, that you're all in this one place and you're staying there, which can be a positive thing, and it can also be a negative thing as well if you're staying at the location that you're shooting at. But this shoot, I found it to be quite positive for the most part. I don't have any complaints for me and how it affected my role. So I just had a blast. Yeah,
because Miko, we had to invade his room it was only planned to be one of the days, but we ended up having to invade for 2 of the days. And having spent basically the entire week of the trailer filming in his room, we wanted to try and stay out of his room as much as we could, but we ended up needing to spend an extra half day in there. But, he was very accommodating, and you were very great I honestly, I know that this is maybe not the way to think as a professional director, but I kind of like the summer camp atmosphere that we get when people come in and stay at the Airbnb and are able to hang out and form this little community, and everyone's up and we've got breakfast and coffee ready to go. Everyone can start brainstorming and all the key players are working together to prepare for the day. And some are sleeping in a little bit because they had a late night and stuff. And that's fine to me. I really enjoy that atmosphere. So, I understand that once we get to a point, I'd love to give everyone a hotel room. They don't have to stay at the Airbnb. And once we're in a place, we can do that. But for now, with the budget we have, if everyone's willing, I honestly think it adds to the familiarity, the atmosphere.
Oh, it does. It does. It's
the whole oeuvre, so to speak.
It's just about balance, right? When you stay at the place that you work, it can be very easy. It's like working from home, right? So it can be very easy to get distracted, get lazy, take your time coming downstairs because it's just downstairs, take your time eating because, it's just right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just about balance, and once you sort of, have a pep talk at the beginning of the week or something, or you just let people know, okay, we're here to work, have some fun, but we got to make sure we're on point. I mean, people generally are fine, right? Because that's what happened with, we
did slip a little on Wednesday. And there was some concern voiced.
I don't know, because I was in the makeup chair for 5 hours.
Yeah, so you were in the makeup chair, but there was some concern voiced. I won't get into who or why, but there was some concern voiced, and because we were a little lax on Wednesday, we were a little slower, took maybe one too many cigarette breaks for people. But we reined it in and then just fucking killed it for Thursday through Saturday. So I was happy to see that everyone could rein it back in and be utter professionals for the remaining 3 days, to the point where there was like no complaints or anything like that. It was just one day where everyone was just a little too comfortable, a little too easygoing, and we probably could have finished an hour or so earlier had we not been that way. But you know, I understood the concern, and everyone course corrected immediately the next day. So like that to me is a sign of a really good crew, and you know, just one reason why bringing everyone back would seem like a smart idea.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, you know, it's for a low budget indie horror shoot, it went very well, very well. You know, the only hiccup was really my tooth, really. You know what I mean? And
well, I think there were like 4 fires.
Well,
fires
there were,
to put out.
but that was a major one, I think. That was
no, I think I would consider 4 major fires.
Okay.
So I think the tooth was one. I think the gloves were another.
Right.
Because we had 3 gloves ready for the shoot.
Right.
And at one point, all 3 gloves broke in some way, shape, or form. Blades snapping off, blades not fully affixed, all different things. We ended up having to spend extra money to get someone to literally weld all 3 gloves to really dial them in. So the gloves was another one. The tooth was one. There was a couple of others. I don't want to give away anything, so I will hold off on talking about the other fires, but there were a few fires. One of the fires, I would say, ended up being one of the least ones, but at the end, we filmed a lot in our Airbnb, and at one point later on, there was some blood splatter in parts of the Airbnb that we had not thought about, not considered. But as it was happening, I was like, I'd be very surprised if there wasn't blood on the ceiling after this scene. And lo and behold, there was some blood on the ceiling after the scene that we had to get figured out. So there were probably 4 to 5 fires throughout the 6 days. But producer Dave and I, producer Dave was like, all right, we knew there's fires on every set. There's fires on every set. We call them fires. They're not actual fires, but they're fires to be put out. I'm certain that you must have had 1 or 2 on Billy. Just things that come up that you didn't anticipate, that you have to roll with. And
we did. There was, I'll give you one as an example. So the unicorn brooch that, I can say it now. The movie's been out for 1.5 years. You haven't fucking seen it yet. You're in no rush. By the way, watch it. It's me, Billy, YouTube. So Mrs. Crane, who obviously is Agnes, she has a unicorn brooch on her lapel, right? Like on her left side of her jacket. And we were looking to shoot with her. Now that day was fine, but the night scene, we were looking to shoot with her and we didn't know where the brooch was. And we had to drive all the way back. We had to drive I had to get my PA to drive about 35 minutes into the city of Ottawa to go get the brooch and to bring it all the way back to set. That's one of those things where like, okay, well, what do you do? Well, while we're waiting for that, what can we pick up, right? Are there things we can pick up? Yeah. No, but
that's
is there
what we
like,
did.
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for a glove at one point.
That's
like,
true.
All right, let's lunch everyone while we're waiting. It's 45 minutes.
Yeah. But that's an example, right? Of something that, you know, happened, right? So but that's why I always say that it is so important that you've crossed all your T's, you've dotted all your I's, you are as prepared as you possibly can be, because that way, when fires spring up like that, you are mentally prepared to handle it. Because if you are not prepared, as the director, as the producer, if you didn't go and check out the locations, if you're, you know, wishy-washy on how you're going to shoot the movie, maybe you're half done your shot list and you're just like, whatever, we'll just wing it when we get to set. No, fuck that. Because then you're going to get to set and you're trying to figure out how to make your movie. You get to set and you're trying to figure out how to shoot your movie. You should already know how to shoot your movie and what you're going to do before you get to set. You don't get to set and then figure it out. You've done location scouts. You've done the work. You've done the shot lists. Then you get to set and then you get into it. But
sometimes you even previs. Like we did
100%
some whole video previs
storyboard and all that kind of stuff.
House. So that way I had the previs to show everyone on set, okay, this is what we were thinking. Okay, let's adapt to the location that we're actually at now.
Correct. And that way, when little fires do pop up, you are not your
Calm the pants
mind,
down, yeah.
right? You're not preoccupied and already angry and worried and about the other shit you should have been prepared for. You know what I mean? So there's things that you can control and you should be prepared for and have in place and ready to go. And if you are, then you are more prepared for the inevitable, thing broke, something's late. So, you know what I mean? And then you can handle it. And then it's not such a big deal because you're calm, you're cool, because everything else is firing on all cylinders and all that kind of stuff. And I felt that on this set. I didn't feel anybody panic. Like I felt like, oh fuck, really? Like the blade broke, but I didn't feel anybody go, ah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And panic. Like we were like, okay, shit, we'll take care of it. And it was taken care of. What's happening?
Never underestimate the value of butter knives. That's all I'll say.
That's true. I know exactly what you're talking
Freddy
about.
movie, never underestimate the value of butter knives. Holy shit.
That's true.
Like that
That's
happened and like we were all set up and then it was like snap. And I was like, no, that was
I knew it was
going to
happen too.
That was
I
the
knew it
last
was going to
one,
happen.
and it happened. And I was like, oh fuck. And then someone's like, what about butter knives? I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And
Yeah.
and it just like
No, it
movie
worked.
magic, baby. Movie magic.
It achieved the effect for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
It's crazy. It's crazy what ends up working out.
yeah. You look. I as a filmmaker myself, I mean, obviously 98% of the time I was in actor zone, but the few moments where I was able to kind of watch a little objectively and put the filmmaker hat on, I had no issues with what I was seeing or how everybody was behaving or anything. I mean, again, maybe if I had been on the other side more, maybe I would have been able to contribute more on that level, but I was there as an actor and I was doing a job and I felt great with how I was treated and how everybody else was treating each other and everything. And it was a lot of fun. I'll say this hypothetically, because you never know what happens in life. And I'm fully ready to play Freddy again, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if I never had the chance to play him again, this was an amazing experience. And I am so glad that I said yes, and I'm so glad that I did it, and I put it all out there. Having said that, I'm going to play him again.
Oh, you are. You absolutely are. By the way, we just got a 5th contribution.
Yes.
5 new contributions for the campaign just
Amazing.
from this stream alone.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Dave. No, yeah, I mean, everything just ended up working out. All the, the fires that had to be put out were put out. And the product ended up being phenomenal in spite of said fires. And I just really can't wait until we can show people what we've done. We obviously have some work to do in the post-production process. The plan is to release by summer of 2023, if not a little earlier. But we have to edit the film. We have to color correct the film. We have to post-produce the film with sound design and score. We have our composer lined up. There's still a chance we have a very special person to do our sound design. We still have to iron out the details. This very special person that might smile if they were thinking they were being talked about right now. Okay, good. Nonetheless, we have a lot of really cool shit lined up for this film. And while you guys may need to wait a little bit for it, you probably won't have to wait a terribly long time. And especially if you just want a couple of first images, those are coming a lot sooner than you may think. So very excited about it.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Okay. So do you still have a little bit of time?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So I say we go maybe another 10 minutes or so. That'll take us to 2.5 hours. That's a good sweet spot. Who the fuck's going to watch 3 hours of us circle jerking? This is so good. It's so good.
I mean, I
Can't wait.
would.
Oh, they're such amazing. These guys are so good. That was actually day one of Freddy, and then I had to dial it back.
Right.
I had to really dial it back. It was just
But I
too
didn't
much.
want to get too far from that performance. So
Right, exactly. Well, I
Get
felt
excited, guys.
Well, I
Get
felt I was
excited.
in the zone. I felt I was in the zone there. You know what I mean?
Very
it's
Fred
just
Munster, Freddy. Freddie Munster is what we went for.
100%. Well, I wanted to give a tip of that because of, you know, I just wanted to tip my hat to the Munsters and, you know, just kind of, yeah, for sure. So any last questions before we call it a day here? We'll go off in about 10 minutes. So take it to 2.5 hours. If any of you guys.
Cody Snyder says, I love how quotable these streams are. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's true. It's true. They can be. They can be.
Oh, It's Me Billy is only 3,000 away from 50K views. Nice. Really nice.
It is. Yeah. I think it's at like 47,300 and something now, or 400 and something now, or whatever. So yeah,
it
that's
just goes
great.
to show that view count does not necessarily, it's not a barometer for how important something is, because there's, if everyone knew what was going on amongst all points of your project, they might be a little surprised and happy, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, you know, people have often asked me, are you upset that Billy only has, you know, nearly 50,000 views? And my response is always the same. Look, would we like more views? Of course we would. But the view count is not a reflection of the quality of the work. The view count is a reflection of the interest and the popularity of the IP. Black Christmas, you know, is not, there's not a Black Christmas series, right? There's 3 Black Christmas movies. There's the 74, the 06, and the 19. It never spawned any sequels. It never embedded itself into the pop culture zeitgeist in the way that Freddy or Jason or Michael did. So it's not top of mind. And it's a holiday movie. It's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas horror movie. So it's not the kind of movie that you see people watching throughout the year, generally speaking, but it really picks up speed sort of around this time of year. So, you know, it's just, if this was a Halloween fan film or a Friday fan film or an Elm Street fan film, that would be different. You make 50,000 views in your first 24 hours because it's the popularity of the IP. Dylan's New Nightmare is going to smoke It's Me Billy like it's no tomorrow with views because it's Freddy Krueger and you got Miko Hughes in it. And you know, it's people. That's what it is. It's not. So no, if view count was a reflection of quality, I'd be like, well, yeah, that would be very disappointing because that means that people don't like, you know, but it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. So it has 47,400 something views. And when you look at the like to dislike ratio, we're sitting at about 97% thumbs up. Mm-hmm. So, and it's got like 3,000 thumbs up or like, you know, whatever the case is. And I think it doesn't even have 100 thumbs down, you know? So, I mean, it's people like, now, it's also very specific to Black Christmas fans. If you're a fan of the original Black Christmas, you're going to really like it. If you're expecting Friday the 13th blood, guts, and gore, you're probably not going to like it. It's Me, Billy is like, the first half of the movie is like a drama almost, and then the second half turns into this sort of psychological thriller. So it's, we're very proud of it. It's, you know, very, very proud of it. Very proud of what we were able to do. So, anyways, I digress. But yeah, no, that's really cool. That's really cool. And hopefully, maybe it'll be able to hit 50,000 views by the time Christmas is done here. We are going to make a push. Obviously, we're in development on chapter 2, so we're going to make a push on that, and we'll be sending out a press release to make that sort of official soon. Even though we made the announcement in September, we're going to kind of make it more official in the next couple of weeks here. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see the launch of part 2 next year for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. And again, I mean, it's not greenlit yet, as you know, right? You make the announcement, and when you're crowdfunded, you have to raise the money. So right. It's Me, Billy chapter 2. There's an intention. It's like a letter of intent. You know, it's like, we want to do this. We're building a script. All the players want to come back and reprise their roles, and we want to finish our story. But if we can't raise the production budget, well, then we can't make the movie. Mm-hmm. So we're still going to count. We're going to count on everybody again to come back and hopefully help us complete this story. So it's exciting, man. It's exciting. And we're going to deliver the same quality as we did before. So we're very excited about it.
Well, and that quality is what we were trying to reach with DNN. You know, I had a level I was trying to reach when we were going to do this 3 years ago, which was, you know, Vinny's Never Hike series. And then while I'm stuck in a holding pattern, you come out with It's Me, Billy, and like raise the studio level even higher. It's like, okay, well, now this is the new level that we have to get to. But luckily, I feel like we were able to achieve that level. I hope people are going to agree, but from my own biased perspective, I feel like we got almost there, if not there. So it's exciting.
Look, I mean, a rising tide raises all ships as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, we're competitive, but I would like to think that we're competitive with each other in that friendly way. You know, we want each other to succeed. I hope Vince's Never Hike Alone 2 is fucking fantastic and looks fucking stellar and knocks every fucking china dish off the fucking shelf, whatever kind of saying that's supposed to be. But I do, right? You know, because that's what I want for him and for his, you know, his desire to complete his story, you know, and I would hope that, you know, he would want me to fucking do it again and knock it out of the park with chapter 2 of Billy, because, you know, we're all in this together. We're all filmmakers. We all want to succeed. We all want to work together. We all want to, you know, make our own shit. And look, I mean, I know it sounds very kumbaya, but I think the more you support each other and get behind each other, the better. Because that's what it's all about. You know, we all want to showcase what we can do. That was why we made Billy the way we did, because we wanted to show off what we could do as directors, as filmmakers, as visionaries in terms of how we saw the next chapter going, and we think we achieved that. Does that mean everybody likes the movie? No, not at all. It's art. You know, there are people that don't like It's Me, Billy, and there are people that love It's Me, but that's like any movie, right? Yeah. That's just the way it is. But we're very proud of what we were able to achieve, and we're going to do it again. Hopefully we're going to do it again. If everybody can come back and get on board, and hopefully we'll get some new people as well that missed out on the campaign the first time around and that saw the film and were like, oh, fuck, this is great. I want to get in on this, right? We're going to be counting on those people too, right? And by the time DNN comes out, we'll be kind of well into pre-production, hopefully, fingers crossed. And it's this whole thing, right? We're all in this together. That's how I see it. I mean, again, maybe that sounds a little kumbaya, but you know, I'm not in it to fucking start fights, drama, or have any egos or anything like that, man. I want us all to succeed, because I want us all to work together at the highest levels. That's what I want.
So a moment that I just remembered that maybe we'll end with your reaction to this is something I just remembered you doing, which I'm not going to give away, but it has to do with that little moment where when you know what I'm referring to, but it involves a single claw. And it is so good when people see how unnerving that delivery is. I just really, just to bring it back around to you again before we log off.
Shut up! Stop talking about Billy. No, I know. You see what happens to me? It gets me fucking going down this thing.
No. Just to bring it back to you as Freddy, though, people are going to be so blown away with what you've been able to accomplish, and I'm very excited with just the little bits here and there where it was like, what if you tried this? And one thing that you tried worked so well on camera, and I can't wait for people to see exactly what that is.
What's funny too is when Miko and I were in our positions, and I'm not going to say where I was or where he was, but you know what I'm talking about.
In positions, yes.
In positions. Yep. And he was looking at me. There were quite a few times where he was like, he turned to me and he said, fuck, stop that. Like he meant it. He wasn't fucking around. He's like, fucking stop that. I'm getting fucking creeped out. Just
it was awesome.
Stop that. And
it was so great to see.
But it was great because, again, that's that vote of God. Now, that doesn't mean people watching it at home are going to find it just as creepy. But again, it's that confidence that let me know I was dialed in. I was locked in. And every actor likes to hear that. You know, and it was, I know what you're talking about. I don't think that was in the script. That came to me during the table read.
Oh, okay.
That came to me. Do you remember when I did that during the table read?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So that's
table read, which is only about a week before shooting.
A week before shooting. That's where that's where that came from.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Because I did it during the table read. It wasn't in the script, but it felt like something, again, instinctual. It felt like something Freddy would do.
Yes.
And so, I made sure that I did that during the
You did a great job. Bloodbath TV says the positions were missionary and doggy for anyone that was curious.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. It's totally true.
that whole scene was incredible. I can't wait. Like, I was thinking that would be the money trailer shot, but then we just had so many cool things that were achieved. Like, I now know how I want the trailer to play out, and I know what the end of that trailer is going to be. And I'm just very excited for everyone to see that trailer once it drops, because they're just going to be like, what? Like, it's just gonna
all this stuff. I'm a little nervous. I have to admit, I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous for next week's photos. But I'm excited. I am excited, but a little nervous too, I guess.
Stay by your phones on this coming Tuesday. Make sure you're there. Yeah.
You see, this is what I mean, right? So people see me on my channel like this. Woo! Hey, everybody, what's going on? And then they're going to go, that guy?
That guy's Freddy?
Fuck off.
No, honestly, all I think you're doing is widening the chasm between you and the character when you do that.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Honestly, I love that, because people are going to look at that and be like, no. But who played Freddy, though?
Look,
they're going to say, but who played Freddy? Because it's not Dave.
No.
And we've seen Dave, and that's not him.
And I mentioned this.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's Freddy.
Yeah. And I mentioned this when I was there. Look, I've been a voice actor for I've been full-time. It's my full-time job now for 16 years. I've been a voice actor for like 18 of the 21 years. I've been in the entertainment business. And one of the things I love about voiceover, especially, and again, it depends on certain things, but I love the anonymity of it. I love being able to do voiceover work, have my voice heard all over the world in animation, commercials, promos, trailers, whatever, and nobody knows what I look like. I love that kind of thing. Now, some actors might want that. I want to be recognized. I want to be noticed. I want to feel famous. I don't give a shit about that. I really don't. I spent a lot of that with my dad growing up. He was recognized, and I'd be out to dinner with him, and people would come over to him and talk and all that. I don't want any of that. Now, that doesn't mean if I'm recognized at like a convention or something, I'm going to be a dick. Of course not. Of course not. Come on over and say hi. I just mean the desire to be. Sure. And so when I can get lost in the Fred, I'm actually very thankful that I can get lost in that, and people don't know it's me. I love that. I love that movie magic. I think it's so cool. It's so cool.
They're going to be very thrilled with what you've brought them. I know that for sure.
I hope so. Now that we've said that, you're like, that was fucking shit.
I'm truly not like. As much as I would normally be worried about that, because I'm so insecure about stuff, like, I'm not at all worried about that for this. Like, that's how confident I am with what we got. That's how confident I am with what you provided everyone, what Miko provided everyone, what Cindy and Ron provided everyone, what Nora provided everyone, what Ben, Vinny provided everyone. Like, I just don't have those concerns.
Right.
And it's a very lovely place to be as a director. I got to be honest.
For sure. I will say that I felt the same way after Billy when I was driving, because I actually we rented a big sort of like Suburban, and I actually drove the three ladies home. So it was like a 4-hour drive. So, and as I was driving, they're in the back seat, talking amongst themselves and whatnot. And I'm there and I'm driving, and I had a big smile on my face because I felt very good. Same thing, right? Like, I felt very good. I didn't feel like listen, there's always going to be, when the project is done or when you're in the editing bay and when you're piecing it together and you're looking at stuff, 9 times out of 10, there's usually always that moment where you go, yeah, probably should have got that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's just, that happens. Or maybe we should have. But overall, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And I think you will be too. I get that vibe from you, that I think, there may be that moment where you go, maybe we should have got that shot, or maybe we should have done this instead of that. But every director will do that, what I mean? Because it's your baby, it's your work. You take it seriously. You're passionate, but it sounds to me that you're happy with everything, which is a good start. It's a very good start.
Definitely. I'm very excited. And as to Mother Mayhem's question about what platforms will the photos be up, I mean, when they get released on Tuesday, they'll be everywhere. All of us will be dropping them on our socials. Ideally, some of the horror sites will be covering the images as well, because we had a lot of horror sites cover us when we did the trailer. So now that the film is complete and we're releasing official images, I do think that there's going to be a number of sites that want to cover that as well. Whether the big ones will or not, Bloody Disgusting, Dread Central, we'll see. But I'm fairly confident with what we're going to show.
I think they will.
Be interested to show. Yeah,
I think they will. And I'm waiting for the, because it's going to come. I'm waiting for, and I know it, and it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm waiting for the, fuck it, nobody but Robert. If it's not Robert, I don't care.
They should have got Robert to do this.
Robert. Fuck it, not Robert. Robert's the only Freddy.
Because Robert's available, and like, if they had asked, he for sure would have done it. They should have gotten Robert to do it.
Nobody fucking, who's this McRae? Oh, that guy? Fuck. It's gonna happen, but I don't care. I mean, you know, it's sort of, it's par for the course when you take on, and again, I understand that this is unofficial.
I got to avoid doing like, you really think Robert would have done a fan film for less than $40,000? Like that's where I immediately go.
No, just ignore it. Ignore it. Just totally ignore it. But listen, again, I know this is unofficial, but it's as official as you can get without it being official. Mm-hmm. So you know, that's dem the brakes, man. When you step into an iconic character like that, that's just what you're gonna get. You know, I mean, it's just the reality.
It's true. But I think even some of those naysayers are going to be even happier than they anticipate. So
yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. All right, folks. Well, listen, that's going to do it for Cecil and I here on this debrief stream. We've gone for just over 2.5 hours now on this, what no doubt some people are going to be like, oh, what a fucking circle jerk. We're so good. We're so good. Yeah, wait until you see how good we are. You are going to be fucking on the floor drooling with how amazing we are. I am so amazing. Just wait until you see how fucking awesome we are. That's literally what half the stream kind of felt like. But like I said,
I completely echo his sentiments.
Without giving, it's hard to not sound like that. You guys are amazing. Thank you to my moderators, of course, Chris Baber, Darren Sands, Frank. I haven't done this in a while. Chris Baber, Darren Sands, Frank Reiger, Tabitha Short, Andrew Stevens, and Cody Snyder, and the Horror Show, who's an honorary mod. Really appreciate your work tonight. Horror Show, amazing. I did a lot of work. Totally. You are amazing. Thank you to the super chat questions that came in today, of course. Really appreciate that. And just look out next week. Is it Monday, I guess?
Tuesday.
So you're releasing them on Tuesday. Okay.
The news sites will likely get the information on Monday for a Tuesday morning release.
Okay. Well,
so it'll be early Tuesday.
Okay. Exciting. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I should be back Monday night with an episode of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. I got to get in touch with Tony and find out what the hell we're doing. I can't remember. But have a great rest of your weekend. Cecil, again, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No
Dave.
problem.
I appreciate it.
Any last things you want to say?
You guys should go through the Hatchet series, apropos of nothing.
Yes.
Just saying.
The Hatchet series. I haven't done that. I think I've seen the first Hatchet, but I don't think I've seen any of the others.
Apropos of nothing, it may be a fun thing to go through.
It may be a fun I'm just hoping for a Hatchet 5 personally, but you know, whatever. All right. All right, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend, and Cecil and I will talk to you soon.
Bye,
Cheers.
everyone.